Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Director Watch, an Awards Watch podcast that attempts to get inside the mind of cinema's greatest auteurs, explore what drives them, and maybe we go on a few unrelated tangents along the way. I'm Ryan McQuade, the executive editor here at Awards Watch, and joining me, as always, is my favorite magician, my co-host, Jay Ledbetter.
This may be what we're talking about today, The Prestige. Is this the most Nolan film, at least the most early Nolan film that he made?
Man, I got to tell you.
Mr. X, Dead Wives, dialogue that sort of gives away the twist, but you don't notice it the first time. A movie about making movies, like the intersection of professional and personal lives. And of course, sort of my pet theme of this series, the manipulation of identity.
Yeah.
It's sort of all here in The Prestige. I'm excited to talk about it.
I'm excited to talk about it as well, man. Like this is a big one.
It's a very important film to me as a teenager. It's
to
like
me,
a huge deal.
To me, this is a big one for me, like personally. Like I remember watching this, and this is I think this, Jay, more so than even Batman Begins, what we talked about last week. This is like when I was like watching this movie in theaters. I remember going, whoa. When by the end, like this was the first time he sort of wowed me.
Well, with a Batman movie, you're still kind of like, it's
a Batman
Nolan movie, but it's also a Batman movie.
Yeah, so you're just like, oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean? It's based on a novel, but it's also, it mostly is sort of.
It's mostly his thing. Yeah,
it's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, it's a Christopher Nolan movie. We're here to talk about The Prestige. We're not going to do this alone. We had to bring on a old friend. You know, you can find the location of that old friend.
Many people have called him Ryan's double.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you think he looks like me?
You grow the beard, you know.
Complexion wise? You want to go there?
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
It's our good buddy Jake Tropila. Jake, welcome back.
Hey, thank you. And if you need me to be Fallon this weekend, I'll be your double anytime you need.
I gotta say up front, like the makeup for Fallon is just absolutely ridiculous. Like it's like, how did none of you see this?
Well,
like,
the great question of The Prestige is, how well does it work the second time you watch it?
I've seen this movie maybe just as much as any Christopher Nolan movie, and it works every time. Like it like I love it. Like, I mean, obviously you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Jay. Like the dialogue is like, hey, it's right there. You know what I mean?
You see the seams certainly the second time, but I personally, as a 15-year-old, did not see the twist the first time I watched it, and I sort of kind of give it credit for that ad infinitum. Like it's like that. Okay, that's how I remember this movie, even as I watch it, and I'm sort of like, well, duh, how did I miss this?
Well,
and so that's kind of how I remember it.
Yeah, Jake, go ahead.
You're just like Robert Angier. It was too simple. You didn't want to believe
exactly.
That
you don't even want to say it in front of you.
I will say this.
I was wondering how much of this would be Michael Caine impressions.
It'll be.
You don't really want to work it out.
Of it, yeah.
He uses a bloody double, Robert. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that's pretty good. But you mentioned at the top that this is like the most Nolan movie that he did in his earlier work. I mean, didn't Memento? I feel like Memento, he just really arrived fully formed with that.
Yeah, that's the most extreme sort of time manipulation, and the dead wife is like the core of that movie. This one sort of sprinkles in the dead wife.
But what if he said, "Let's have two dead wives"? Like that's really the thing. It's like, did the Memento have two of them? Jake, I don't think so.
But also, what this has that the others don't is this is.
Remember,
in my opinion, this is a movie about movies and about entertaining people.
Yeah,
and I think that's one of his biggest themes in throughout his entire career.
I just also
this early part of his career. I think there's a delineation, probably. Well, it's the period that we've talked about, Ryan, where I'm like, I think his last three movies are his best movies, and I think that's where you can kind of like do the cutoff of. He was so obsessed with these things, like to the point of almost being insecure about these things. Mm-hmm. But I think that insecurity is in this film entirely, and also an asset to this film.
I mean, I think of this as not necessarily the most Nolan-y film I mean, it surely is that with a lot of his obviously, signature tropes and things found in it. I just think of it as his most cynical film and his most darkest film. And you can maybe, and I don't think he's ever been in this lane ever since. And I think that, to your point, Jake, like this is a cousin film to Memento in a lot of ways. And for me, all the bells and whistles aside, and yes, Jay, I think you're right about this being a movie about movies. And he does have that throughout his filmography. And this is like the first one before Inception, when that one's really about like movies about movies.
To a fault.
Yes, to a fault. I think that this is just a movie about just deeply flawed people and the idea of artistic obsession and how it can consume someone. And that doesn't necessarily just have to be filmmaking. That could be anything. And I think that this movie is like,
I mean, most of his movies are about how much, like, does he love movies more than his children? Like they're very, sit on the couch, tell me how you feel about making movies.
The question it asks is, would you literally rip apart your soul and abandon your family to become the greatest showman on earth? And that's and also, are you petty enough to ruin another showman's life so that you can come out on top? And that's just of the many things that this can be about. I love that. I love the antagonism that drives the whole story. I apologize if this has been discussed a bunch, but I'm wondering where you guys stand on this film in Nolan's filmography, because this is my single favorite one.
This is your favorite Nolan?
This is my favorite Nolan film. I've seen it the most of his films. I find it to be really oddly charming and charismatic in a way that a lot of his other films are not. There's something about this one where it's like also kind of like Zodiac, where it's a warm blanket I return to time and time again, that I just love. And I think knowing the twist and the machinations of what's going on behind the scenes ahead of time really enriches it every single viewing, because you get to pick up on why some things happen. And I don't know how spoilers are going to work here, but I trust if you're listening to this,
away.
Okay.
You can spoil away. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like little things where Sarah tells Borden she's pregnant and he says, "Oh, we should have let Fallon know before he left." And little details like that really just like, it's a very sharp and well-written script and directed film. And I'm also going to say I did some extracurricular work. I read the novel.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Priest.
I didn't read the novel. Ryan, I assume you didn't read the novel.
I've read it a long time ago.
Wildly different from the film, but
he was not involved in the adaptation, more or less. Yeah.
Christopher Priest, is the author. I believe he passed a couple years ago. But yeah, we can talk about that as well. But that also, I think, enriched a lot of the experience for me, because the novel, it's very, very haunting and very bleak still, even when a lot of the directions the plot takes are very different. But yeah, this is my number one Nolan, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I would say until a film that we'll talk about later in this series emerged, this was for the longest time my number one Christopher Nolan film. And for reasons that Jake has said, I think that this is the one I've maybe seen the most of his films.
Wow.
I really have loved this since it came out. I love its puzzle box nature, but I also think that this is one of the most fascinating films I have ever seen on multiple viewings, because like even after out of the twist, it is this idea of like, in modern criticism or conversations about film, the idea of who to attach oneself to. And over the years, the idea of Angier's journey has always been very fascinating to me. This sort of rise of who you think is really the protagonist, and then by the course of the film turns into the villain, and then of course what happens to Borden is he's presented mostly as antagonistic throughout the beginning of the film, and then he turns somewhat sympathetic by the end. But then as you go on, as I've gone on many rewatches, I'm like, both of these men it's what Scarlett Johansson's character says is that they're made for each other, because they are two sides of the same coin. and the coin, the double sided coin, is in here. It's inside the Dark Knight, obviously, and I think of them as these two massively broken, high ego people that are inflicting pain on one another over and over again, and that by the end the trick doesn't matter anymore. It's only the pain that they've caused. And Jackman says, like, you don't know anything about sacrifice. I've had to sacrifice. It's like, no. You, they've had to quote unquote sacrifice a lot. And by that, I mean sell their souls for this. I mean, what Alfred does to his wife over the course of this film is just as bad as anything that Angiers does to them over the course of it. And they're both equally unhappy and unsuccessful at what they do. And really the performance I always cling back to in this is Michael Caine. I know we were making fun of him earlier, but like, he's just this guy watching these two very talented
not making fun
people.
of him. I think
he's
he
incredible
is
in this movie.
the fulcrum of this movie.
Yeah. And he's the beginning and the end with his introduction to all of this. And he's a little bit of an enabler at times too. But when he talks about obsession, there is something about obsession is a young man's game. Nolan's a relatively young filmmaker. That's maybe one of the more meta things that I find very fascinating about this. Is just like, this guy is trying to, subvert the expectations of an audience at such a young age, yet he's just coming off of making the single biggest IP film that you could possibly make at a young age.
This is the only one that it was Batman Begins in this with Nolan and Caine. Is that right?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
At the time?
Yeah. And then they just kept working together.
And then they've never stopped until Oppenheimer. Yeah.
He became Nolan's DiCaprio, weirdly.
Yeah. I think he's in 5 of his films, maybe 6 if you count The Voice in Dunkirk.
I count The Voice.
Radio.
Well, he's in Prestige. He's in all three Batmans.
His 4.
He's in Inception because he plays the father-in-law. He's in Dunkirk on The Voice, and then he's also in Tenet for that brief moment.
7,
and he's in Interstellar as well because he
is in Interstellar. He has a true blue role in Interstellar.
8 films.
All right, 8 films. Yeah. Interstellar is the one I need to revisit. I only saw it the one time in theaters. I thought it was profoundly disappointing at the time. In the years since, a lot of people have really gone back for it as his best film.
Jake, you and me are on the same page.
I'm like, really? I don't really have a. I guess I might rewatch it someday, but when I think of that film, I just think about the robot Tars and how I'm like, oh, well, there's a robot that can turn his comedy percentage down.
Hell yeah.
I guess Ryan's a fan, but I don't know. I'm
a lot of people love it. Like, it is.
I've been on board with it for a long time.
When it was revealed that I am the movie guy in my office, everyone under the age of 27, they're like, my favorite movie is Interstellar.
Yeah, that movie is the Nolan film for so many people.
Yeah.
For our generation, I think
that's crazy to me.
I think for our generation, though, the movie is probably The Dark Knight when everybody turned.
Well, I mean, I would say broadly
that's the one, but like a couple years. I mean, like, I know we're the cool ones, Jake, and saying The Prestige, but like, for the larger population, it's probably our generation.
It's a Batman movie.
Yeah, but it's more than a Batman
that made
movie.
$1 billion.
Yeah, like everybody saw.
It's a very good movie. I mean,
it's a very good movie.
Yeah,
I feel like a large part of the Dark Knight's audience is not like a Nolan fan base. It's just like, oh, this is a serious
General
Batman
public.
movie that we like.
Yeah.
So Nolan's almost irrelevant.
A little bit of a different thing. Yeah.
But Interstellar as like his crowning achievement is I don't know. I guess I could revisit it because I love Tenet is now probably in my top 3, and that took a second watch to really get because the first one.
It's crazy that both of you guys haven't rewatched that since it came out. Like, you guys have just
Interstellar.
That you guys have just like
my top 3 Nolans are the last 3 Nolans.
I know,
like,
but that's
kind of
like
my opinion is that he has matured as a filmmaker so much.
Jake and I were all talking about like Southland Tales, and how Jake that you saw that movie and you didn't like it and it grew for you. So maybe it's one then when you
did you were not and Jake, you were not a dad when you saw Interstellar.
That's
I
the
was
other.
not.
Which
That's
I
true.
think that will have a dad bump for sure.
Wasn't a dad, and also I had only just started dating the woman who would become my wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it'll unlock some things for me
Look, that definitely has a bump for me for
yeah,
many, many films.
Yeah,
because he's
and also it has, and it can also deter sometimes too, Jay. It doesn't always work.
What
yeah.
being that is actually a good question. Has being a dad ever made me like a movie less?
I
Is an
think Hamnet
interesting quandary.
was last year because I thought you were gonna like dig that, and then you were like, "This is manipulative," and you
No,
weren't
no,
a big
it's not
fan of
that
it.
it was manipulative. It was just bad. Um, I did not care for
No,
Hamnet.
I'm just saying that like that it's happened a couple of
That
times.
one did not. It wasn't worse because I was a dad. It just didn't have the dad bump
Bump,
either,
yeah,
which
exactly.
was weird
It's
because
just
that
the
hadn't
same
really
thing.
happened very much. But I've been a dad now for maybe long enough that it doesn't have quite the impact that it once had. But I am interested to watch Interstellar again because of that reputation that it has gained over the years, and because I am now
We'll talk
a
about it
dad,
in
and
a
that is a very dad forward movie, which most Christopher Nolan movies are. So.
yeah. Well, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a couple of weeks. But Jake, I got to ask you about Nolan. I know that
Yes.
you said that this is your favorite Nolan film, but him as a director on the whole, like some people they think he's the guy of cinema, like he's the number one,
Yeah.
and he kind of has that crown. He's director of
Mhm.
DGA. He's got all the Oscars from
He
Oppenheimer.
is the
He's
most
making
important filmmaker as of the year 2026.
he's got the crown. So for yourself, Jake, is do you somewhat agree with that? And or if not, you can tell us why. But then also, what is it about Nolan that you love? Maybe some things you don't like about him. Just your thoughts on the man as a director.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just come clean right off the bat and say that Nolan is not one of my guys.
That's
In
fair.
the parlance of Mark Maron. The As much as I love this movie, I'm not. I'll happily go see every new Nolan film in theaters. Maybe not opening weekend, but I will make a trip. I think he's great with scale. He's very much. Um, like I love one of the filmmakers who are still carrying the flame for shooting on film and practical sets and just trying to keep everything tactile and I think he can kind of get lost in some ways. I know you say you love Oppenheimer. I feel like the third hour of Oppenheimer I it would kind of prevent me from revisiting that film anytime soon. But
Oh, buddy.
Nolan is I honestly I think that movie peaks with Los Alamos, and then it's just we have to contend with Robert Downey Jr.'s Senate hearing, which was I just didn't really enjoy it all. To be quite honest, I like the movie overall, but I
I
think the
get you.
final moment is great, but just a lot of it
That
really
is
slows
that is
down.
a complaint that most people have that if they don't like the film is
Yeah.
that third hour is the thing that
You
hits
said you
them.
like Tenet?
Yeah,
I Tenet is like I don't know. It's like a dumb smart guy movie in some ways.
Well, that's
I
sort of
don't know.
Christopher Nolan's thing.
yeah.
It's yeah,
He's like
yeah.
the
But
elevated
It's like
dumb guy, but
every Christopher Nolan movie was made up by, a 13-year-old playing with cars
yeah,
on
it's
his playboard or
I'm not
whatever.
gonna get mad at a time travel Michael Mann movie. All right, that's fine. That's fine by me. If you want to mess around with this, I mean, there's the key term in that or the key line in that movie is don't try to understand it, just
Yeah.
feel it.
feel it.
You do that,
Yeah.
you're along for the ride. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then there's movies he's done where like The Dark Knight Rises is just I think genuinely bad.
We'll
And
talk about it.
I
We'll
remember
talk.
loving that in theaters, but I feel like Insomnia is very weak. And Following I only saw once, and it's again that's not one I'm really yearning to revisit. Dunkirk is very uneven for me.
Mm.
Like I think the plane stuff is him at the peak of his powers, and then I think a lot of the soldiers on the beach is just very just I don't know very middling. Just as I'm sort of looking through his filmography, Inception I haven't seen in quite some time, so I might be due for a revisit of that one. My favorite Batman movie of his though might honestly be Batman Begins. I like that it's just
It's a good movie. The one
It's a
right
good movie.
before
yeah.
Prestige.
Yeah, so it's interesting that this film, The Prestige, is sandwiched between Batman Begins, basically rejuvenating what was essentially a dead superhero. Because the last time anyone had seen Batman on screen. It was Schumacher, and Batman
Bat
Begins
nipples.
does
Yeah.
well. Yeah, and then not a year later, we get The Prestige, and it's like, are you gonna really abandon everything like you've created in your personal life just to be a great filmmaker? And then the next thing he does is The Dark Knight, and then that basically just changed everything. But yeah,
Changed a lot of
I find The
stuff.
Prestige fascinating in where it sits in his filmography, and yeah, it's not like he'll ever make a movie this I think this, I'll call it simple. Easy, no, simple, maybe, is, as Borden says about his twin.
Low
But
stakes. He'll never make a movie this low stakes ever again.
oh yeah, no, it's
I mean, like, even though I will say, like, to like, I think that, like, this is the smallest scale he's gonna ever be ever again. Like, even,
Probably.
yeah.
I felt a little bit of that, like, even though there is the grandness of he's making a biopic about men in rooms,
Hmm.
I felt that energy a little bit back with Oppenheimer, but obviously it's like, it's still $100 million film, a decade
I mean, that
plus
movie does
apart.
feel
But it
massive
feels
when you
big,
watch it,
even though
which I think is a credit to him as a director, to be
well, that
honest.
it feels big, even though it's just people for the most time just sitting in a room talking about the end of the world. Like,
I'll
that's
tell
what's so
you,
Yeah,
great.
I'll tell you a weird anecdote, like, because
sure.
I've got another podcast now about Clint Eastwood. I just watched the film Firefox,
Okay,
the Clint
Mm.
Eastwood film. It's like an espionage film about
with
him
Clint.
trying to capture a Soviet jet fighter plane, and it's a lot of people talking in rooms, and it is so boring. Oh my God. Like it really, it made me think about, because you see all the time, how did he do such a great job with people talking in rooms for 2 hours? And
3 hours.
you see it so often that you're like, oh, well, maybe it's just like a cheat code for a good movie. No, it is not. It is not a cheat code for a good movie. And I think, I mean, we'll get to Oppenheimer later, obviously, but also The Prestige is
There's a lot
largely
of
people talking about the rules of magic in rooms. There's a real
Hmm.
skill to that.
well,
And
this is a film that you have to be tricky with, sleight of hand, how much you're willing
well,
to show the audience
it's
and
so
everything.
manipulative
Yeah,
from a plotting standpoint, but I think it's
that.
successful in its
Oh yeah.
construction.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think it is 1,000%
This
successful for
movie,
me.
this is actually like a kind of formative movie for me
How
that I
so?
probably like less now than when I saw it the first time. But I saw this when I was 15,
Hmm.
and I remember walking out of the theater after the two or three twists were completely revealed in the last 15 minutes of the movie, and me and my buddy Doug, shout out Doug,
Shout out, Doug.
were walking out of the hallway of the theater, and we were just like, that was unbelievable. I mean, it was just like, I cannot believe that they pulled that off. And it was very much a 15-year-old's interpretation of that movie. It was sort of I've never really experienced something like that in a movie theater before. And for that, I will always treasure this movie to a certain extent. I will say, as I rewatch it, I am sort of like, there are cheap thrills in this movie that Nolan utilizes. Some of the dialogue that they use in relation to the twist, I think, is so stilted. It is still one of my five favorite Nolan films, but
Hmm.
there is some stuff in here that reeks of early director, writer insecurity that I can't help but sort of call out, despite the fact that I do really love it. I think it is maybe the best utilization of Hugh Jackman as an actor.
He's never been better.
This is his best performance,
Yeah.
full stop, in everything he's done. I think he's absolutely fantastic here, and I feel like I haven't seen Sheep Detectives, but I feel like he has not.
I've heard that movie is wonderful.
Dude, people are
I
loving Sheep
That's like
Detectives.
the biggest surprise of the year I'm seeing is people are walking out of this movie crying
I
at it.
was I was at
Yeah.
Cannes Film Festival, and I was with great guest and editor at AwardsWatch, Sophia Seminola, and she was doing a count of the films that she has seen there and of which ones are as good and better than Sheep Detectives and are worse than Sheep Detectives. And
that were being shown at
They were
Cannes.
being shown in
That's
fucking
funny.
competition.
That's a funny scale.
Cannes. And I was sitting there being like, you can't be serious that these movies, like, it's that good. And she's like, don't hate on the sheep. And then our good friend Christina Yerling-Biro seconded her and said that that movie is incredible. It's like the Paddington of this year is what she described it.
I remember seeing the trailer for that movie
And thought it
was
looked
wait.
Yeah.
So the sheep are actually the detectives. I thought it was like a community of people who own sheep where
And
they
honestly,
were trying to solve a murder. No, it's actually the sheep. But I mean, Babe is a near masterpiece / masterpiece.
Well,
so I mean,
that's
it's possible. Yeah.
Babe 1 or Babe 2 for you, Jay? Which one do you prefer?
I'm a Babe 1 guy. Yeah, for sure.
All right,
The audacity of Babe Pig in the City, I appreciate, but I think as just like a pure entity, Babe 1 is near perfect.
Okay. Jake?
I'd probably agree with that sentiment. Yeah. As much as I'd love to see George Miller go, excuse the pun, hog wild with
He had to say it.
I just there's a purity to Babe 1 that is nice that you don't really
It
get
is
anymore.
funny
So
that
maybe,
Babe that George Miller was like, Babe 1 was so good I should have directed it. I'm doing Babe 2, you son of a bitch.
the fact that he retired from Mad Max, did like Lorenzo's Oil, Babe Pig in the City, and then comes back and does Fury Road as if to say, I still got it.
Well, hey, wait a minute.
Well,
wait a minute.
don't forget
Don't forget those happy feet. Don't forget about the happy
those
feet.
happy feet.
How could I forget the talking penguins? Yeah, but and then to just do it all over again with Furiosa, which I might think is better than Fury Road.
I love Furiosa.
I love Furiosa.
I did not love the Genie movie. What was that one?
Oh,
how many years of longing was that?
10,000?
3,000 years of
3,000?
Yeah, 3,000 years of
I
longing.
did not love that one.
I enjoyed it. But yeah, anyways, back. So yeah, Jackman, I think this is his best effort as an actor. I think that's just because Bale has just done a lot of like he's much more low key here, which I think is also part of the pleasure of returning to this movie. Is it's nice to see Bale play a human and not Dick Cheney or anything like that. It's like what he's just or husband of Frankenstein in The Bride. But
I still haven't seen that movie.
Well, he's either doing that or the movies with what's his name?
David O. Russell.
Yeah. No, not David O. Russell. Didn't he do the Springsteen movie?
No.
Or am I thinking of somebody else?
No,
That
that's Jeremy Allen White, and that was
No,
Jeremy
the
Strong.
director.
Yeah, he did like the
Scott Cooper.
Yeah, he did like Out of the Furnace, or he did the
did a bunch of Scott
Hostels,
Cooper
or he
movies.
did the what's the
Just
one like the Edgar Allan Poe one, the Pale Blue
he did
Night
a
or
bunch
whatever.
of them. Yeah.
You know,
I have seen, I think, 0 of the movies that you just mentioned.
I've seen all of them. Sadly enough,
Yes, that's a wrap on the Awards Watch. Scott Cooper coverage.
that motherfucker's never getting onto this show. I can tell you that. Like, no. I Springsteen. One of
He
the
was
most
really good.
frustrating-
He was really good in Ford and Ferrari. I love Ford v Ferrari. The movie's good.
That's a good.
That was when I knew I was ready to be a dad. Is when I loved Ford v Ferrari.
Did you? Yeah.
The pale blue eye. Good.
The
grief.
pale blue eye. That's what it was. Yeah. No, like I agree with you, Jake. Like watching this, it just one. I do think Bale's very good here, and I'm gonna continue to say this controversial take leading up to the end of this series, which is when we see the Odyssey. But there would, as much as I am, like I am looking forward to the Odyssey, even though that last trailer was not the best in the world. I still think if Nolan had said, actually, I'm going to have Christian Bale play Odysseus instead of Matt Damon, I think I would be like 15% more interested.
Bale's younger than Damon, right?
Yeah. There's just something about like Bale being physical in a performance. Like
Wait,
that.
really?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, and it's not a shot
I'm
at
pretty
Damon.
certain that Bale is younger than Damon.
It's not a shot at Damon. I think Damon's like a really good actor. And I think actually we're sort of undervaluing Damon over the years.
Bale is
For his
52, Damon is 55. Yeah.
wow,
All right,
holy shit.
not considerably.
Not,
but yeah.
they're basically the same age.
Yeah.
But Bale, I mean, Bale was in Newsies at, what was that, like 92, 93? And
Yeah.
he was
Yeah,
like
no,
12 or 13 or
We've had him
whatever.
around for like 30 years. It's crazy, but
And
I think
Damon was
he's
20 in Good Will Hunting.
I think he's so
that's
good in
fair.
this movie, Bale. And he gets undervalued because of the fact that, like, I think we can all agree it's like Hugh Jackman showing an ounce of being an artist, and like ever since has never even remotely been close to hitting the high of being this type of a performer, like not even close. And I think because one, Robert Angier is such a fascinating character written by Jonathan and Christopher Nolan, but
Jackman is such an interesting
he's-
just, like entity in Hollywood.
he's now just like Ryan Reynolds' buddy and just like making money. Like,
Well, he's a bona
Mr.
fide movie star who hosted the Oscars. That's so
Yeah.
weird.
he's a bona fide movie star that
But
just
that's what
wants
he's
to be
best
a
at, is being a, dare I say,
song and
the
dance
greatest
man.
showman.
No, he
Yeah.
just wants to be a song and dance man now. Like he'd rather do the Broadway shows and the Radio City Music Hall than actually like make interesting shit. Like that's why like when he did the Wolverine Deadpool movie, it's like of course
been
he's got to
Wolverine
make
for
that.
25 years.
Yeah, like he doesn't actually have to act because he's just gonna make money.
Yeah.
Um,
To his credit, though, I do say whatever you will about superhero movies. He's a good Wolverine.
he
I
is a
think.
Good
fantastic Wolverine.
There's a reason he's been Wolverine for
Yeah.
25
the reason why we
years.
can't let go of it. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
It's yeah.
And I mean, like he is very good in like a movie like Logan and those those Wolverine films. It's just like, but then you watch a movie like this and you're like, oh, I think that there's more there,
Yeah.
and there could have been more there if he wasn't in the slot.
I'm not sure there is that much more there because he is so big. Like, I don't think he's that good in Prisoners, for example.
No, he's not very good in that movie.
He's just a ball of rage, and
But
Yeah.
that's also we
He's
talked about that,
overcranked
Jay.
in Prisoners.
That's Villeneuve. Like this is the difference
I
between.
think Gyllenhaal is very good in Prisoners.
But I think that
I
is the
agree with
difference of
that.
being like Nolan. You can say a lot of things about Nolan, but like there are actors that have gone on in their filmographies, and then in their careers, and they've never delivered better performances or even close to some performances like they have in his films. And then there's also some that just never should
well,
have
that
worked.
is interesting. Is how many actors have given their best performances in Christopher Nolan films? I don't think that list is that long.
I mean,
Whereas I think about somebody like Paul
Yeah.
Thomas Anderson. I think a lot of actors have given their best performances in Paul Thomas Anderson movies,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm not sure that is true of Christopher Nolan.
I mean, you could say that about like
That would be an interesting sort of checklist to go through.
maybe that's something we do in the last episode.
Yeah, that is. I'm not thinking. Well, I mean, obviously, Heath Ledger is really
Ledger.
just a completely different level.
I mean,
than
you could say
anything
that or
he had ever
Brokeback,
done.
one of the two. Yeah, but there's something.
Yeah,
It's probably certainly
yeah.
his most. He will be remembered for Joker.
yeah. Well, it's odd to even think it. He's just it's odd to even think of him as the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You when I watched that film.
Right.
It's
I'd say like
oh,
Guy
like,
Pearce
oh.
in Memento is pretty high up there for him. Like
Guy Pearce, that's probably his best performance.
Yeah, it's
I'd like
Confidential.
Proposition.
Proposition's really
Proposition. I'd love.
Yeah.
good too. Yeah, Proposition's
I mean,
really good.
we did an episode on my show, and it was the Guy Pearce Western pack. You have Ravenous, you have The Proposition, you have Lawless. I think Guy Pearce, even like say what you will about The Brutalist, which has torn many opinions. I think Guy Pearce is fucking fantastic in that movie.
I like
He's
that
good in
movie,
that.
and I think
Yeah.
he's great in it.
You love that movie. I like that movie.
Yeah. Jake, were you?
It's certainly flawed after the second half kicks in. Like you get to the first half in that intermission, and you're like, oh, I think I'm watching one of the 10 best films of the year. And then it really kind of a lot of things just grind to a halt once his wife comes aboard, and really it just
That's
starts
the
going
only
these
flaw of that movie
cyclical,
is
abusive-
Felicity Jones.
Is Christopher Nolan an actor's director? Like, do you think it is? Because I mean, we've brought up a couple already where it's like, oh yeah, that was their best performance, and it was a Christopher Nolan movie.
I mean, like,
I think he gives a lot of freedom to actors, but I'm not sure his work is necessarily like made to be actors' best performances. I think Cillian Murphy will always be remembered as, I think on his obituary, it's Cillian Murphy, comma, star of Oppenheimer,
Oppenheimer.
dies at the age of 175,
Yep.
which is how long I hope he lives.
I think that
Well liked by all.
well, like he's a very nice man. I've tried to talk to him. But yeah, I mean, I think that there are a lot of actors. Like I was watching this conversation with Anne Hathaway a couple of years ago, and she was just talking about the differences between working with directors that aren't him, and what makes him so special, and why she keeps wanting to go back for more. And there you hear Matt Damon talk about like
Damon loves
the
Christopher
Damon
Nolan,
story
man.
is like the
he's
best
the one
case
who's just
for
like
this.
Christopher Nolan calls his phone. I'll be there for
Yeah,
two
like
scenes in your
Damon's-
movie.
Damon's
but that's
story
his
of
whole
being
thing.
like-
He's been in one scene of 3 or 4 Steven Soderbergh movies. Damon is just like, if you're a good director, I'll be there for you, man.
But like his wife was not going to let him go to another Soderbergh project for a scene if they were going to break their honeymoon. It's like, if Christopher Nolan calls, then I'll go. And that's like the dream of anybody. Like it's like it'd be like, and then he called, and then he fucking went to do Oppenheimer, and now he's the lead in the Odyssey. So it's like, he's building these giant casts. It's like, yeah, who wouldn't want to fucking work with this guy? Like this guy is.
He seems like a person that people like to work with.
It's not like Big Jim, where like Big Jim's not getting the best performance out of you. It's like the scale of those movies.
Well,
or
he's
what
been
is
making
what
Avatar
it is. You know what I
movies
mean?
for
Like,
almost 20 years.
well,
now,
even
so
still, in
it's-
like
you don't
Titanic
get the
and
credit.
like Titanic and like True Lies. I'm not looking for the acting here. I'm looking for like the spectacle. And there is something about inside Nolan's films. You do get great performances. You do get actors to trust the text and trust him and give themselves over to his process and continue to come back for more and more. Fucking Tom Hardy is one of the more difficult assholes in this whole business, and he keeps coming back for more to keep working with this guy. You know what I mean? Like Michael Caine is a established, 2-time Oscar winning actor, and he's worked with the guy 8 times. Like that's gotta mean something.
I think people like working with Nolan.
I think
and
he's pretty
this
good.
is kind of the start of that, because these are some big actors in this movie.
Yeah. I think like getting to probably any studio getting to see the dailies of Batman Begins to then, just like green light this, dueling magician project, which, made enough money for people to go, all right, cool. It just
Scarlett Johansson good in this movie? Can I ask?
I think
the character is okay.
I think she's fine and does what's asked of her. But I think I don't know if maybe the performance is all there for she to be a woman who, because her character Olivia is huge in the novel, and like really it drives home how much Angier becomes infatuated with her, so much so that he leaves his wife for her. His wife does not die. Well, I'll go through a lot of differences later, but his wife does not die in the novel.
Interesting. It's just a dalliance.
Yeah. So yeah, she's written like she's a good magician's assistant, but as someone you would like leave your family for, I don't know if her character is translated that well on screen. But I think I don't know if that's maybe just Nolan's part for underwriting the role, or I don't know what else.
Nolan would
Johansson
never
could have done.
underwrite a woman, Jake. That would not happen.
I think that there's I think that she's perfectly fine in this role. It is.
I think that is as far as I would go.
And that is as
I would,
far as I would go.
I'm not even sure I can get there. I think she is not nailing the accent. I will say that.
I don't really care. That's the thing. It's like I've seen this movie so many times. I'm like, I don't care.
I'm not saying it's a huge detriment to the movie.
The character is more.
I don't think she's that great. She's so young in this movie too. She's like 20.
Yeah, I'm like the character to me is more fascinating in sort of the, how she's played between these two men and the manipulation of her caught in the middle of really these 3 men. It is that's the sort of thing on the poster. It's 2 men, but it's actually 3 men, and it's Borden and his twin and Angier. And the the person that Olivia falls in love with is the twin, and and Alfred has fallen in love with
It
Sarah.
is crazy that Scarlett Johansson is technically the biggest head on the poster.
She is like she's as
It's half of her
large
face, but she's huge on the
and right
poster.
in the middle of the two of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but um yeah, I actually think Rebecca Hall's really great in this film.
I think
Um,
she's fantastic in this movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yes, it is a woman that is written written this way in such a like that she kills herself. But there's something extremely tragic about the relationship that Alfred and Sarah have, his inability to share his secrets and who he is, and and what those two men have done to this woman throughout the
Hmm.
course of this film. It's like I was watching this go around, and my wife was with me. They're going like she never stood a chance. Like these two men just because they're what is it? What does he say? Like half of a whole life, each of them shared.
Yeah,
They
two men sharing a single life. Yeah.
yeah, and
Not, I
it's
mean, yeah, it's not
they ripped her
not fair at
apart.
all for them. Yeah.
No,
Because that's also the thing is where one of them fell in love with Olivia and the other one fell in love with Sarah, and we see the anytime that it was the one who was with Olivia's turn to be with Sarah, it was just nothing but turmoil. And yeah, their trick, while it did effectively fool everyone, it destroyed everyone else around them, namely the person closest to them.
but
And I think
Alfred can't
also,
fix it either. Like
yeah,
he's like
right.
there's that scene where they're at like the merry-go-round, and Fallon's off, the brother is off camera, and you
Hmm.
so you know that you think that that's this Fallon, right? And
Hmm.
so for all intents and purposes, that's how I'll use it, because otherwise I don't want to confuse my own self, let alone the audience. But
Right.
but in any type of confrontation, because he doesn't know how to handle, how to fix Sarah. He wants to fix it, but he doesn't know how to. He's so insecure when it comes to that. This brilliant, mind of magic can't fix the relationship that's broken at home. And so he's getting his brother to fix this, while and yet his brother's making it 10 times worse, because he doesn't actually love her, and he doesn't know how to handle her, and he doesn't want to tell her the truth.
Hmm.
And the scene at the dinner, when and this is honestly the selfishness of Alfred and his brother. It's like you guys could have switched at any point before going to that dinner, so that Sarah doesn't see this man who was almost buried alive, and yet you don't care about her.
Hmm.
Your selfishness and the trick and this battle with Angier has caused you to see the blindness of what's in front of you, which is this beautiful life, this thing that Angier's
Well,
like
honestly, it's
that
the
Robert
selfishness of the
craves.
selflessness.
Yeah,
It's like there's something selfish about this desire to give the other brother what they want, but
yeah,
that comes at the expense of every other person in their life, which is really the root of all of that is the Chinese magician, Chung Ling Su, who they're like, this guy
Hmm.
is amazing because he has devoted himself. He's like a magic monk. Like he is so devoted to magic that he is completely detached himself from anything around him,
mhm,
which is apparently based on a real thing where it was just like a older white guy who dressed in Chinese garb and then had a heart attack or something. And they were like, oh, this has been this guy the whole time. And that scene where they are at the show from Chung Ling Soo,
Hmm.
that scene is so amazing because they are genuinely in awe. It is so fascinating when we see them.
One of them is.
one of them
Yes,
is,
true,
yeah,
Well,
true,
I
true.
think I think that's one of the key scenes to understanding the film
mhm,
is that Angier does not get it. He doesn't buy that. That's the whole trick. Is the guy is living his
Angier
life
is kind of the dumb one.
as a friend.
he
Well, I
is.
mean, I mean, just to kind of discuss the differences between the two. Both of them, Angier comes from he's like a very aristocratic background. He's like
Yeah, yeah.
in the novel, he's 14th in line in a lordship.
Lord
Yeah.
Corderlo, yeah,
Exactly. He's got wealth. Borden, obviously very lower middle class at best, probably. But yeah, he Angier, he's like in the novel is depicted as kind of like a maverick. Like he wants to make the next great get rich quick scheme in the world of magic, something that'll just blow people's minds. That's why partially why he enlists Tesla's help to build the device. And Borden just has the simple act of literally sharing food, two people sharing food for their whole lives. And he's the only one who can understand that sacrifice and why Chung Ling Su's trick works. It's because he's the only one who knows that sacrifice and knows what you have to give in order to pull off one of the best feats in the world. And I think that's part of what the key to understanding the film is just the two men reacting to that performance. Is only Borden is the one who gets it. Angier is like, no, that can't be it. He's always doubting Occam's razor in the whole film.
Well,
That's his mission.
well,
Yes.
he's doing that because when he can't figure out this trick that they see at that performance.
Hmm.
It's like, I don't get it. And Borden understands it completely. He goes, it's about the sacrifice. This is the act. Him walking with a limp and looking as if he can't do anything, this performer, this old, man from China, he's literally, he's like, this is the real act, is living this life. And, by that cost, him and his twin suffer a same fear, of sacrifice. Like, you have to understand the sacrifices that are willing to take it. And there's the line of like, it's easy to steal another man's life, steal another man's trick, steal another man's work. And to me, like, you're right. Angier's always like, he's the showman. The real wizard is Borden. And the fact that that Cutter is telling him and Olivia has told him, this is the trick. It is a double. You have tossed and turned yourself over and over. You've spent a fortune and gone all the way around the world, and you can't see that because you never understood what this was all about. You never understood the first lesson. And because when you come from that sense of means, I think that there is the sense of like, well, there's got to be an easy answer to it. And there's not, it's not as simple as, oh, he's got a twin, because these two both lost something. But at the end, one loses their life, a wife is lost, a child doesn't have a mother, the other doesn't have that relationship there anymore. And they will be, that name will ever be known as a murderer. Like both of the, like his trick is now tarnished because Angier couldn't just accept the fact that it was a trap door and it was his brother, like, walking through it. It's what's so wild about it to me,
But the only thing that makes Borden's trick any good is the fact that he is missing two fingers. That's like the only thing that makes it interesting.
And also just a great bit of misdirection because Olivia says, it's the same man because who else would be missing those same two fingers? And she says he wears the padded gloves to try to hide it. But that's also part of, just to go back to when I first saw this film, that's also part of what blew me away is the commitment of the twins that one of them has to amputate the other's fingers.
Right.
And that you're like, okay, wow, that's great. But
well, then that little scene of where it's a throwaway scene and you think, oh, it's just because he's like picking at it or he's working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why his fingers are
How is
bleeding
it still
again.
bleeding? Yeah.
But it's actually
bleeding,
because once again, it's actually her husband. It's really Alfred because his brother was the one doing the trick. It's his brother who is the one that,
But that is something I absolutely did not catch on to the first time I saw the movie.
Did you not really?
right.
No, I didn't catch on to the cut off fingers thing until they were cutting off their fingers.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh no. Yeah. I don't think you would catch that on the first viewing. That the re-bleeding of the fingers. I don't think anyone would stop and say that's a second guy.
Right. Just like there's an infection or whatever it may be.
Yeah. It's like I guess the mark of a good twist is maybe going back and seeing how much Nolan throws it in your face the whole time. and how much Angier still refuses to believe that there is a double, because Olivia says she finds like off screen, she says that she finds like all the wigs and makeup and stuff that backstage, and Angier's like, no, that's just misdirection. He's just trying to fool you. I'm like, no, no, that's she's found like the Fallon getup, and that he refuses to believe it's that simple. That's
Yeah.
the irony of
That's
that
his
leads to his
downfall. Is that
Exactly.
yeah?
It's his downfall.
It's the fact that like he can't see that, so he goes all the way around the world. He buries a man alive, which is crazy. Like, and Cutter's like enabling him up to the point where it's like, you know what? I got shot and you buried a man. Why don't you just like take over from here?
Cutter's involvement in all of this is a little convoluted and troublesome.
Yeah, because then by the end
I
he's
would say.
like, well, then by the end he's like, yeah, of course I'll work with you in this 100 performances. But then like when Borden's on, when Borden's on the trial, he's like, that machine, yeah, maybe don't use it anymore. Like it's actually,
And it's sort of like, I've known about this the whole time. Then why didn't you do anything?
yeah, you're fucking
And
asshole.
also, he's like a double, triple agent, because we see kind of that he's working with the last remaining Borden twin, because he's the one watching the daughter.
Yes,
while
exactly.
He goes and takes care of Jackman.
Well, that's actually Alfred, because like the twin, the one that loved Olivia, that's the one that goes rogue, which I think that's the stuff that's very interesting to me is, and when I pick up more on the second, on like the thousands of whatever, how many, like dozens of rewatches that I've watched this thing, is the third act of this film, which is the real prestige of this, which is the fact that Robert has gotten this machine from Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
There is actual sacrifice and actual getting his hands dirty, because when you
Why do they send him to Tesla, by the way?
why does he send it? That's the key to his diary.
I know, but why?
Because Tesla created a similar machine for the brothers, for their transported man. Like the last,
They're actually they're biological twins, though, right?
Yes.
Or are they copies?
Yeah, he thinks so. No,
no.
The Borden boys are definitely twins.
Yes,
They're
definitely twins.
biological, natural twins.
Yes, biological, natural born twins, as they are in the novel.
Mhm.
Yeah, Angier believes Tesla has made something for Borden to duplicate himself.
And we
So
do
he goes
kind of
and-
see that at like a
Okay, so he's
performance.
running off of
Yeah.
an assumption that
Yes.
we just need to presuppose in the world of the Prestige.
Yes.
It's like there's this
Yeah.
rumor that Tesla has done this thing.
Well, no, it's if I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm wrong, but I've seen this movie like a bunch of times. One Borden is by the machine that Edison's men is shutting down at like the World's Fair or whatever. And he's very interested in that. There is a brief moment where he does use a smaller machine and device at a performance that Jackman Angier is like, oh, then that's the next move. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I think
No,
that's a scene.
wait. Hold on. The Bordens were born on the same day. They are not
Yes,
clones.
They're not
correct?
clons. No.
Those are the Bordens.
If
Christian
anything,
Bale's
I
character
think
is
that
twins.
what the Bordens are doing is using Tesla as a decoy in a long way,
Because there is this like grand rumor that he is able to clone people.
He's the thing. Part of the film is that Borden is always a step ahead of Angier, even
Yes.
because he gives
trying to
him the
bankrupt
cipher.
him. Yeah.
He gives him the cipher
Mm-hmm.
to decoding his journal, which is the keyword Tesla. And
Tesla.
then when he reads to the end of it, it's basically along the lines of, "Oh, by the way, Robert Angier, I know it was you, and I got ahead of you all along." Ha ha ha! Like I don't know, there's like a mustache twirling moment.
Yeah,
within
because he's
the
like,
text of
you,
what he's
Right,
writing.
right. But
You know,
what is
you,
why
Angier.
is Angier like, oh, Tesla, obviously. We just have to presuppose that in the world of the movie, it's like, well, Tesla can do anything potentially, so I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, because he goes to the town and sees that it has electricity, and so he thinks that Tesla's the key behind something revolutionary, and Borden
Okay,
may have
all right.
contacted
I'm
him prior.
with you
Exactly.
then.
And
Yeah.
then he's
Planting light bulbs in the ground that rocks. I
That
did like
rocks.
that a lot.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great scene.
One of the maybe the one of the best shots in any Nolan film is the field when they all light up. Is
Oh,
it's
so
just
good.
So good. Yeah.
Where that,
stunning. And you know every one of those is like a practical bulb, right?
yeah,
He's not gonna.
Yeah.
each one of
Yeah,
those bowls costs $10,000. You know what I mean?
it's
It's something like
yeah.
that. It's crazy.
But man,
but
how
like, no,
perfect is Bowie though
I was gonna
as
say one Andy. Well, to give him credit, Andy Serkis is actually really well
Circus?
cast as his like
Sure,
assistant.
but
But like
Bowie is like a
when Bowie
get.
comes on, it's like, oh my god, this is like the greatest performer I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's nobody could have played
His
Tesla better.
natural presence is like
When
unbelievable.
he walks through the electricity in his entrance, it is just
Mhm.
like, yeah, Christopher Nolan understood he cast David Bowie as Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, he's doing like probably a pretty bad accent, but it doesn't matter because David
It's
Bowie
David
feels
Bowie.
like he was born on another planet.
Yeah, exactly.
So it
He's a one of
works.
one. I was talking with this about my wife. Who is left on this planet that are one of ones? Bowie is a one of one.
Victor Wembanyama.
Well, thank you,
Ryan, I'll give
thank
you credit for that one.
Thank you, buddy.
Um,
I wanted to hear that one. I wasn't teeing you up for that. I was just saying, like, there aren't very one of ones.
Who are how many
anymore.
unicorns are out there?
Yeah.
Left? Like how many
Because, like,
Madonnas are there?
because
you can't
when-
say Madonna anymore in the same way.
No, well,
Hmm.
because like Lady Gaga is like a copy
Kendrick
of
Lamar is close.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar kind of
Mhm.
feels like a unique entity.
I know nothing about sports. I apologize.
Kendrick Lamar is a rapper. But thank you, Jake, for acknowledging that you keep up with pop culture there.
And I know
But
Victor Wembanyama is, but I was just
Oh, there you go.
belatedly catching up.
Madonna
But
is not
no.
a basketball player either. I'm just gonna put that out there.
No, of course. She's
I mean, on the
She's a golfer.
vein of sports, Shohei Ohtani is a unicorn for sure.
I would agree with that.
But as far as, I mean, actors,
culture,
we're almost getting to the point where not talent wise, but commercial wise, Chalamet almost feels like a movie star unicorn.
yeah,
His
but-
ability to
but
get
he's-
butts in
he's-
seats as a
but
movie
he's a
star.
copy of a copy at this point. Like,
Yeah, but
he's a runoff of Leo. Like that's what people.
I agree, but there's no other copies of Leo.
No, I know.
in
I'm just
this
saying.
generation.
Well, here's the thing. It's like when
He's a
Bowie,
big deal.
when Bowie died shortly after Prince died. That is like a 1-2 hit of like
Those are two
originality.
unicorns.
Yeah. You know, like who's left in the world that are like nobody
mean,
can
for-
duplicate what they do.
We don't have enough of a monoculture for that to exist anymore. Really,
I mean,
I
if we're
know.
talking actors, does Tom Cruise count? Because he can pretty much just do whatever he wants.
Tom Cruise is a
right?
unicorn. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say that.
maybe to a
a
certain
unicorn on the back half of his career.
I would just
Yeah.
say like Tilda Swinton's a unicorn because she's like from another planet, but I wouldn't necessarily think that she's like if you told me tomorrow Tilda Swinton was an alien, I'd be like, oh, that's fair. You know, but
Checks
there's
out.
Honestly, if you're talking like pure power and ability to get stuff done, Christopher Nolan is kind of a unicorn.
wow, okay.
I'm not saying he's the best
We-
director in the world by any stretch, but
But that's the thing. It's like
power-
you've kind of had to be like the best in your position.
He's,
But
which
Yeah.
he is not.
So when we're-
and
when we're-
he doesn't have a unique talent, I wouldn't say.
So when we're saying unicorn, basically somebody has the means to do whatever they want. They
Mhm.
get the full creative control, and they can also get people to show up at whatever their next endeavor is.
I
I
think
would say
that,
ideally the unicorn is more related to talent than
yeah, like
power.
they can be in
like
whatever
Bowie was never the most popular artist in the world.
No, but
just
he could-
had a thing.
in any
you know?
form
Yeah.
of what he did.
He
was
Bowie seemed
masterful.
to transcend mankind.
exactly.
In
Right.
his persona.
As did Prince, I think. As did Madonna.
Yeah.
As did probably like Kurt Cobain was maybe
I think
Sure.
one
like,
of one.
I think like
Yeah. I'm sure there's people listening to this screaming suggestions at us.
probably
'cause
think
I'm
like Paul Simon is in a
racking my
way.
brain.
That's me. Like he could just
Hmm.
be in any genre, but that's maybe just my thing.
Is that still true though? Because I don't know.
Not nowadays because he's like
Yeah.
old as dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? But
Well, that's the
Paul
thing.
Simon
it,
sounds
it,
rough,
it pays
you know?
dividends to peak early as a unicorn.
Mhm.
um
Orson Welles found out the hard way.
yeah, he
No.
did. Yeah. Uh,
Um,
no,
It's
I
hard.
mean,
It's also very hard to declare that in the moment.
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's kind of
Though
something you have to look back on.
I mean, like,
Except for Wembanyama, he's a unicorn.
well, he's not a unicorn. He's an
Maybe we just need
alien.
the next unicorn to die, and then we look back and realize, oh wow, this whole time Willem Dafoe has just been the greatest
I
living
mean,
actor.
honestly, you wanna just say it like that's actually probably not wrong. Like
Yeah.
Willem
That's
Dafoe's,
pretty good pick.
that's a
But
pretty good
I
pick.
just thought of like who do I always love seeing no matter what they do, and Dafoe is a really strong choice for me. That man is he's
Well,
always fascinating.
he can be a character actor. He can be a leading man. He can be in
Yeah.
He
any
changed his name from
film.
William to Willem just
Um,
because he thought it
Oh,
would make him
he can
more
be
appealing.
he can be
that's a unicorn line of thinking
That's
there,
a
you know?
unicorn. I
It's
love the
like
depiction in The Prestige of the Edison agents as like
Thomas Edison second.
fascist destructors.
Yeah.
yes, there's this little like other sub story happening behind the scenes that we don't really go into. But yeah, we're at the turn of the century, and Edison's men are moving in to kick Tesla and Alley out of town.
Yeah, like
Um,
complete creation and absolute creativity. And like Edison's like, no, you will not do that, sir. Even in America,
yeah,
it's
Which has
really
always
good.
been an interesting hypothetical. There's something so romantic about the idea of Nikola Tesla. I
Yeah, now
imagine
it's
that romanticism comes from the fact that he was the one that lost,
yeah,
right?
and
yeah,
now
I mean,
and now
there's that huge story about, when he killed an elephant at a public exhibition, Topsy the elephant.
oh,
hmm.
Uh,
I heard the elephant had
so
it coming
it
though.
wasn't like he was this, oh, well, he clearly had the better technology. He was more, I would say, revolutionary in his interpretation of the technology that they were trying to establish,
Yeah.
but he was also more reckless in the way that he displayed that technology.
For sure.
And he was a big Tears for Fears fan too, right?
Big Tears for Fears guy. But it is funny to me that they
The Tesla movie. Yeah.
why couldn't
I've
they
only even seen that clip.
why couldn't they find the hats? They were like 40 yards away from.
Oh, okay. This is explained in the novel,
Okay.
which I can really get into. So,
Oh, here we go.
they test the novel. The first thing they try testing the Tesla machine on is like this like painted orange rod, and they zap it several times. Nothing seems to happen. Jackman is disappointed, or Angier is disappointed. He leaves as he's walking down the mountain. He spots the orange rod in a bush. And then so he brings it back the next day and said, "Hey, I found this." And they show that they have the two. So then they can calibrate and start to select where the double can go. Um, I should mention in the novel the machine. It's not quite a duplicator because what it does is you can select your destination and then they describe it in first person as like it feels like you're completely ripped apart into particles and then you're teleported into a new place and what's left behind is like a husk of your body. So you could say it almost like it kills you and then makes a duplicate of you in the second place. It
And
doesn't.
it's like a copy of it's like a deteriorated version of you.
The left behind version is the
Oh, the
new.
Left Behind version is.
Yes. So there's
Correct.
none of this like trapdoor into the water tank
Okay,
business
got
is
it.
in the novel.
Yeah.
The machine, it zaps you, it puts you wherever you calibrate it to go. You have all of your memories, all your physical marks, everything about you is identical. You have the memories of everything up to that point. You can go back and you can see like basically the physical shell, which looks like a corpse of what you used to be.
It's like your
So
skin is left behind.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a husk because
interesting.
the thing about the book too is that it takes place in modern day, which for the novel setting was 1995. We follow two different points of view. There's the descendant, the great grandchild of Alfred Borden, and the great grandchild of Angier, a woman named Katie Angier. When they were children, their parents were having a feud. So this is like three generations down of Bordens and Angiers.
Oh, it's like the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Yes, so the Angiers have the device, and the Bordens come visit, claiming that they, the rightful owners of the device. Angier's grandson throws Borden's great grandson into the device and turns it on, zaps the kid, and teleports him elsewhere. And then Angier's great granddaughter thinks that her father murdered another boy. Meanwhile, the great grandchild of Borden is having these nightmares that he has a twin brother he doesn't know about. And what that is the psychic link with the remains that were created because he's actually now the duplicate who's walking around the earth. Then we go back in time and we're reading basically the journal entries of Borden and Angier. And so we get Borden's perspective of the whole knot plot, and then later on we get Angier's perspective of everything that happens. So it's really like the rift between these two men, and they weren't like friends in the novel either. Borden attended a seance that Angier was doing and interrupted it because he saw that he was using like illusions and trickery. And so then Angier made it his mission to attend every show Borden did and call out all the tricks that he's doing from the audience. But then Borden
This is so petty. I
introduces
love it.
So Nolan added the dead wife.
Nolan added the dead wife. Well, what happened is,
Of course.
he interrupted the when he interrupted the seance. There was a physical altercation. The wife fell and had a miscarriage, and that's why
God.
Angier wanted to pursue him. So he's like ruining every trick that Borden turns up and does until Borden does the teleported man, and that's like, how did he do that? I can't figure it out. Cutter, who's only in the novel for a little bit as his ingenue, explains, oh, he uses a double. And he's like, what do you mean? He says, well, have you heard of identical twins? He's probably using a twin. This drives like Borden or Angier's insane because he's like he's like looking up birth records. He's trying to find physical evidence that Borden has a twin. It turns out that he does, and he physically manipulated his twin's records so that it made it seem like he just has a younger brother. And then they used like makeup, kind of like Fallon in public, so that nobody would recognize him. But yeah, it all goes back down to this, like the final incident that's I'll just say it because is where Borden goes to a show of the new transported man, which is called In the Flash, and he finds where the device is plugged in while Angier's is running it, and he unplugs it, and it creates two Angiers. One of them is like a ghost that's running around. It's like basically his soul has been removed from his body, and the other, his human form, is just this like becomes this frail skeleton, and then soon dies. But the ghost version is like running around London and like kind of achieves immortality through this, and it's crazy. And
Do I need to read this? Is it good?
it's I really loved it as it gets going.
Sounds
like
wild.
it's crazy, and obviously Nolan cut out a lot of like the generation spanning stuff. But yeah, so it really is, the film is just about the two men, but like this extends beyond, like, you know, the families are like still facing the repercussions of what their great grandparents did 100 years prior.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah.
it's it's
I'll
very
tell you what
different. Go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. I would just say what that makes me appreciate is like the nature of adaptation.
Because like,
Because I think what
there's
you
no
just
way in
said
the
to
world
me
that would have
is
worked on a
basically
screen.
impossible to make work in a movie, in a 2-hour
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
mean,
they did a really good job of translating that to
well,
the form of film.
well, everything
Like
that Jake,
I respect that a lot more because I am not the biggest Jonathan Nolan fan in the world. I think most of the
Yeah.
time when Jonathan Nolan gets involved in the screenplays, I like them less. And Westworld is,
oh man,
which you would say
Mhm.
is more Jonathan Nolan's work than anything else, I think is horrible.
it's
I think it's
bad.
terrible. And
Westworld
so
is like the
that's
experience
interesting.
of like, you watch an episode or two and you're like, oh, this is kind of interesting.
And I'll
And
tell
then
you,
by the end of the
based on
season-
Westworld, who picked out the needle drop for The Prestige, which is a crazy needle drop in the credits. Jonathan Nolan loves Radiohead more than anyone in the universe.
I mean,
Oh wow. So
The
that was
amount
that
of
was his call then.
Radiohead in Westworld is insane.
it's insane. But I will say, of all the things that Jake was saying there, he did take one aspect of it, which is that when Angiers is explaining to Alfred at the end of the film, when he's explaining the courage it took to go into the tank and everything.
Mhm.
For the longest time, I didn't know that the Angier that we see there is a copy,
Right.
and that he kills the real Angier because, as you were saying in the novel there, Jake, the person that transforms, that moves, is the original person. The clone is the one that is there still on the stage, or essentially goes in the trap door.
But that clone has all of his memories.
Correct.
So the clone gets
Yes.
the same sensation that.
And the way you know
But-
that is because he's got this different accent. He doesn't have the sort of like he has more of the posh accent than anything else when he presented as Lord Coldlow and talking throughout the rest of the film. At least this is my tell from it. But that when Robert's actually speaking and saying it took a lot of courage to go up there and not know if I was going to be in the box or anything there, it's like, no, asshole, you knew. Like there's like at a certain point when you're doing 100 times of this or near 100 times
Is
of
that
it,
the case that every Angier that goes up there knows that he is about to be drowned?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
That is the case, right?
That is, yeah, because
Yeah.
the original Angier, when we get to the end of the film, the original Angier is long dead. He might even be the one we see in the tank in the final shot. You can
Right.
infer it that way. But yeah, the guy who's talking to Borden in their final confrontation
is a clone.
that is a clone of a clone of a clone that has been just reduplicated through all this time. But yeah, the novel makes it a point to say as if it is the original Angier who has done this trick several times over. At one point, he even describes he did the trick into a tank of water, and his lungs immediately filled up with water, and his ingenieur had to bail him out. The audience was still amazed, but he almost drowned doing it. So,
But I think it's kind of interesting that Nolan makes that choice of like that this is a clone, and that he has become essentially the trick by the end of the film. He's
Well, it is
become the nightmare that he wanted so
it is a
much.
leap. Not even slightly. It's a leap to say that every single version of Angier would be willing to
No. I don't think of it like that. Actually,
die.
see, no, I think it's more simple than this. And this is how I at least interpret it. And Jake, you may
Okay.
think I'm wrong, or
So
Jay
maybe
might
only
think
the
I'm wrong.
first version of Angier.
I
needed to
think
know that he was gonna die.
that when he first tested the machine there in the old abandoned place, right?
Right.
The when
Dilapidated.
exactly
Yeah.
when
you're
he
talking about where he shoots the clone.
where he shoots
Right?
the clone, yes,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
in
you're
the
saying
place
in
where
Tesla's
no,
No.
just
the one where they're
just sit.
advertising
You got to
the,
just sit
to the theater.
yes,
owner.
where the blind guys are at, where Michael Caine finds them. That's where he initially tests the machine, right?
With the blind stagehands.
Yes,
roaming
exactly.
Around.
Well, he
And
did
so,
he did the
in
first
this old
test at
theater-
Tesla's place, then he shot him.
No, the test wasn't at Tesla's place. The test was at the theater. He never tested it there with Tesla because
He
Edison's
just
men were
bought
already
the machine
there.
and took it to.
Yes, he just brought the machine and took
All
it
right,
there.
Okay.
Okay. When he sets up the machine, he transports the original Angier transports outside of the machine, and what's left in the machine is the top hat, the clone. And the clone picks up the gun, and you see Angier goes, "No, wait, I'm the right," and he shoots him. And from that point on, I think
No. Wait.
Yes.
Okay. So based on
the
Jake's reading
real
the film.
person,
Okay, so
the original
the-
person that stands there transports. Otherwise, there's no transported man. He
So the
transport-
person, okay, so the person who is like on the other in the balcony every time is the original Angier.
it's not the original Angier. It's the clone that killed him, and it's the same clone that killed him the entire time.
So wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Okay,
Wait a minute. I
So
thought-
there's
I
not
thought I knew-
multiple clones.
Hold on.
I thought I
It's
knew
just
where you were
one
going.
clone.
You're saying okay, so you're saying this is a second Angier clone who has now outsmarted every subsequent clone in the
Bingo.
Okay.
That's how
It's
I
the
interpret
first
it.
Angier clone who just randomly saw the gun, killed the original Angier,
Thinks that there's
and now
like
he has
thinks
discovered that the Angier that pops up in the audience.
I don't think he realizes
is the
that.
original Angier.
But from what Nolan kind of lays out through the logic of it, it's basically like that clone Angier thinks that he is doing something by chance every night, but in all actuality, based off of the calibrations of the machine and the logic of what Jake said in the book, the person that's up there the whole time is the same person
But the
every
person
time up
who
in the balcony.
survives every night is the same literal injury. But does that even matter
It doesn't matter.
with regards to the fact
doesn't.
that every cloned Angier has the same
It doesn't, and it would be like
mental experience?
No.
it would be like drawing straws to try to say, is this the Sarah Borden or is this the Olivia Borden
Yeah.
that we're watching? I don't think that matters that much. I don't think a devious clone has. I think the one that is teleported out onto the X and is shot. I think that's a clone. I
I
think
think
the
it's a new
original.
one. You think it's a new one every night?
Yeah, well, it's a new guy. I mean,
That's
again,
interesting.
Physically,
That was always my interpretation as well.
Yeah.
See, that was what I used to believe, and then I was just like, wait a minute, that doesn't make much sense,
Interesting.
because through the logic of it, anyone that's teleported out there is the original person. If you're based off of the book's logic and through the film's logic of why would the original person then shoot their clone? The clone would be threatened by that.
I think that spoke to the. I think the idea of
And it makes sense in
the quote
the guy
unquote
underwater.
original knowingly going into the tank kind of spoke to the vanity of Angier.
Yeah, no,
well,
for
I mean,
sure.
You can say that by doing this trick 100 times, he literally becomes a husk of himself. Yeah,
Correct.
sure,
Right.
it's the same man, the same memories, but he destroyed himself so long ago to get there.
Exactly.
That's his ultimate downfall is this trick, and that regardless as to whether or not who becomes a clone when, all the Angiers are gone by the end of the film.
Yeah, because
So
his the
destructive.
way he speaks and the way he's talking and everything too, it's not the same guy that we saw throughout the rest of this film. It's a completely different form of him, and yet there is still this sense of like, I think that there is Nolan's one last final trick where it's like this guy actually thinks still that by what he's doing every night is an actual sacrifice, and he's still not listening to what Alfred's telling him, where it's like, no, asshole, the real sacrifice is what I went through and what I lost, and you are not sacrificing really anything because you stole everything and you just spent a fortune, and for what? You don't have anything to show for it. And I actually think that's
to me the most tragic, potent idea is that these guys go up to the stage knowing they're going to die, and then this idea that they get into the tank and all of a sudden they're like, this is way worse than I thought it was going to be, and then they're pounding at the glass wishing that they didn't have to go through this torture, which is I think reiterated when Kane is like, earlier in the film, he's like, oh, it was like going home. And they're like, oh, well, you said it was, he said when he was drowning, it was like going home. He's like, no, he said it was the most torturous thing he's ever experienced.
Yeah.
Which is that's magic. Like that is what a guy who is obsessed with manipulating an audience's reality would kind of convince himself to think about when he was in a profession that would involve people drowning.
Yeah,
that's the well, I
love that
magic. That's the beauty of that, the potency of that line.
I love that Nolan uses that again in the next film, in The Dark Knight. He kind of uses Michael Caine to do that with the whole like the bandit and the tangerine, Jules and some men want to watch the world burn, and then he goes, how did you catch the thief? We burned the forest down. You know what I mean? Like
Nolan is obsessed with people like trying to feel good about themselves despite being bad people.
Yeah.
Like, that's like his whole thing. That
It's
and
so
time.
good.
Those are his two things.
It's so good. Yeah.
Confidence Men, which is what I think he maybe got in large part from Michael Mann, although that is a much more grounded version of people trying to trick their environment around them into thinking that they're a different kind of person. But this is just doing that on a much more, sort of magical, and then you get into the superhero realm. It's a much more literal
Grandiose
version of
scale.
that, because Christopher Nolan is a very literal filmmaker and storyteller. But he's good at it, and he requires these genre trappings to sort of expound those ideas.
I gotta tell you, every time I watch this film now, there's some nits to pick.
There
One
were
of them,
so many nits to pick with this movie. It's unbelievable.
the one that
Yeah.
always makes me kind of like
Let's
scratch my head is like, why are you having like a 70-year-old man use an axe to get a woman out of a tank when you want like someone younger that could probably hit that a little bit quicker, or like it feels like
Well,
the old man swinging an
I mean,
axe, like it's going to
that is
take
valid.
forever. You know what I mean? Like it's not a mean thing to say to Michael Caine. I'm sure he's got a great upper body, but like, my God, like a woman's drowning. Get somebody that's 20 years old that could check down a cherry tree or something, for God's
You need
sake.
that jacked TikToker
Yeah.
who chops wood. You seen that guy?
You know? No,
He's
I
a
have
problem.
not seen that.
He's a problem in my household.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's just like one of those things where it's like she didn't have to die, and then she could have had the bad knot if you just, I don't know, if you maybe don't fill the tank all the way up to the top. You know what I mean? Leave a little room for air.
It sounded
know?
like Jake had a nit
You-
that he was about to expound.
Well, no, you could argue that the reason why neither Angier nor Borden, probably younger, more fit men than Cutter, they're still in on the quote unquote act. So why would these audience members try to save a show that they should not be a part of if they save her life somehow? I don't know.
Have a younger man in the wings
Well,
with him.
Well, then
You
you,
know?
gotta hire a younger ingeneur because he's also Cutter's watching the stopwatch.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
He knows the mechanics of the trick, and if it's
Send two guys out there with axes. For
I mean,
God's sake.
that to me was
Come on,
just
boys, let's go.
Yeah,
Run a whole
exactly.
act-
Shit.
That to me was just they don't want to pay another guy.
Yeah,
which
man, it's gotta be.
I found to be legitimate
This
in the
is-
world of the movie.
That's
Two
also
that-
a huge thing in the book. Is after every show, Angier's like tallies up how much money he's made from
Yeah,
each
yeah, yeah.
That makes
production
sense. Yeah.
as it goes up. So yeah, there's obviously there's
mean,
it's cost effective to
How
only
how do you
have-
not fucking know what's not you just tied? Ask your brother. Like seriously,
Well,
this is not
okay,
like
so
No, that's actually kind of like a beautiful thematic thing.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I wanted to get into this because he's questioned that several. It loses his fingers over it. It's he can't remember because he's not the twin, but also the twin that did it is haunted by the
Yeah.
mistake he had made, and that's not something that those two can ever reconcile in their personal life. That just to make everything easier and go away. It's just not happening.
That's a detail I love, actually. I will not. That is not a nit I will pick. I will
saying.
unpick that nit.
Yeah.
It's like,
I will throw out,
though.
I will throw out two nits.
Okay.
Let's hear him.
They better hope that nobody goes twice to that show. Because they're just doing the same plants every show.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, in
like-
that show.
The
Like
same
just
people
the-
are
the
tying.
same-
Well, that's
the-
why.
tying
Well, that's
the
why
rope.
he's like, quit kissing your fucking wife's ankles, you weirdo. Like
Yeah.
it just, you're gonna blow this for all of us. So,
But also,
Yeah.
those are like two handsome guys. Like those are two striking individuals to just be the random plants in the show. So that's a nit. The other nit I'll throw out there is Tesla could make so much money off of cloning things. Like why he
Why is it
doesn't
a
need
magician?
financing from Angier.
Yeah.
It's but that is obviously a necessary plot point. And you could
I don't
talk
think he
about
wants to make it for
the
him,
Edison defamation, right? Like that's really why Tesla wasn't able to establish himself in the world of this movie. And allegedly in the real world to a certain extent as well. But
What does the Joker say? If you're good at something,
never do it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's just,
But,
I mean, no, sorry, Jake, go ahead.
I was just saying
Nits to pick?
I don't know. No, I don't pick nits with movies I love. I just kind of roll with it. If it's flawed, whatever. I'm at peace with my life to just let the CinemaSins years go by me. Like but not that it's fair. You can pull apart legit criticism from anything, obviously. But no, I love this movie all the same. And if there's any like apparent flaws, they don't like stand out to me, or like I didn't sit there and question like, oh, why doesn't a healthier younger man other than Cutter try to cut down the box? But yeah, I don't know. It's,
I mean, like for me,
Do y'all
I'm sorry, Jake.
how do you feel about watching a twist centric movie? I mean, Jake, you said this has kind of become a comfort movie to a certain extent for you.
Yeah.
That this is a very twist-centric movie. It
Hmm.
is very easy to see the breadcrumbs of this film when you watch it again.
Hmm.
What is it that you find fulfilling about a puzzle movie when you watch it over and over?
Um, well, because then you get to see how the puzzle is made, and then
Yeah.
you're going back and like it can have a little recap at the end where it fills in details, but it becomes a richer experience when you know what the whole film is doing. Like take The Sixth Sense, for example. Like
The all-time twist movie.
you may or may not guess by the end of it that Bruce Willis is the guy with the hairpiece the whole time. No, that's an always joke. No, but when you go back and rewatch the film, like literally everything you see, like oh, he was like showing us the whole
It
time.
does kind of make you feel like an idiot that you didn't realize it the first time you watched it.
Yeah, that's and isn't that yeah, isn't that just part of the beauty of movies is like movies are
I think I
magic.
agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
When the lines of like, oh, well, I love you half the time. And it's like,
yeah,
oh, I
But
mean,
see, like,
that's a good line.
but see the
And
thing
given
about,
this twist,
but see
yeah.
the thing about like the Sixth Sense for me
Hmm.
is the twists. Obviously, are the
is
thing.
this going to be pro Sixth Sense or anti Sixth Sense?
It's pro. I love M Night. You know
Okay.
that. Is that as the rewatches have gone over the years, the story that you gravitate more towards, I think, on the rewatches is the Haley Joel Osment and the Toni Collette characters. And there's so much thematic richness found in these characters, regardless of the twist at the end, even though the twist
Hmm.
adds so much to it that you can't help but want to keep going back to it. I mean, I think of the fact that once Angiers returns
Hmm.
and Borden has lost his wife and he's completely low, and you realize you discover in Angier's 100 performances who is the obsessed person of the brothers, who's the real methodical magician behind all of this, which is Alfred, the original Alfred Borden, the guy that was there that night,
Hmm.
with him. That his brother is manic about that their trick is done and that you can't figure it out. And he's the one that can't stop going back and watching those damn performances. And he's the one that becomes Angiers. And
Hmm.
Alfred is telling him by the end, stop going to this. It's done. We're done. We've lost a lot in the process of this. We're not going to lose each other now. And they do. And there's that moment at the jail cell where he's like, I've go live your life now. I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm sorry about Sarah. I'm sorry about a lot of things. And all that's left is that little girl
Hmm.
because we fucked this whole thing over. And it's not until too late when he realizes that. That's all there before any of that twist comes. And yes, the twist then implies that later, but that's the thematic rich stuff that Nolan has there. That once you know what the secret of this sauce is, the sauce is still goddamn great. And that's what makes you go back to this is these morally flawed men that are whose lives have become intertwined and have become the same. In a lot of ways, as much as the brothers are living half of a full life, Robert and Alfred are living half of the same life, the same
Hmm.
tragedies, the same mistakes, the same obsessions, the same regrets that they have. And unfortunately, by the end of the film, only one lives. Only one really carries on because he has something still left that's beyond the trick, that's beyond the transported man, and that is that little girl. And when that little girl is planted inside of that, it takes it to a level that is even more so malevolent, so evil that even Cutter can't be on Robert's side. When he's like, "I saw you dead on a slab, and you're doing this. Why? So
That's
that you
true.
can
They're
get
both
this
so bad,
girl?"
but Angier definitely ends up being the worse
Yeah,
guy.
because it's like, yeah, you can't just fucking let it go. You got the man's trick. I mean, when you always were the better magician than me, but I don't give a fuck what your trick is because I won, and he throws it. It's
Hmm.
like
Well,
you're
that's what he has to do. He
fucking
has to
terrible.
overcompensate for the fact that he knows the other guy is the better magician, which
Hmm.
honestly, the reality of that is
Well, he thinks that the
this
Tesla
gets me to
machine
the
is.
entire conceit of the movie, which is, man, this guy really cares about an obvious double trick. I mean, it's
I mean,
not
well,
that
yeah.
complicated what he's doing. They call him out at the very beginning, and he's like, it can't be, and then that just makes him devolve into insanity. It is interesting.
Cutter actually leaves him in the novel after he explains it's twin brothers, and he's not sure he buys it. And then Cutter, like I said, is not really in the novel much at all, but he's basically third banana here and gives us a lot of the. I mean, he explains what the prestige is, or like the steps of,
I mean,
you
they
know,
give away the movie in the first 3 minutes of the movie,
exactly.
which is
Yeah.
very clever.
Or even like just stuff like the little boy watching the bird trick in the beginning, and he's crying, and the mother's like, "No, look, see, he's fine." And he goes, "What about his brother?" Because he's like, "Well,
Yeah.
obviously you had to hurt a bird that looked like that, and that's Borden's life."
Well, Borden
Um,
was literally like, "Oh, you have a very clever son."
Very clever son. And
Called
then
me
he
out.
says, "You're the lucky one today," and throws the corpse away. But yeah, no, and also just like rewatching it. I mean, yeah, you can also like focus in on something like Rebecca Hall's character, Sarah, and just watch, because the first time you watch it, you're wrapped with these two men. You don't have much time for her, and then you go back and you see, oh, how just devastating it is, and how like her hanging herself, I think, hit me the hardest this time around.
Yeah.
And then also there's just he's a great filmmaker. There's just the technical beauty of watching Nolan pull off in a single wide shot the new transported man hat trick with the hat
It's
flying
really good.
over. It's
It's really
so
good.
it's so great.
It feels like magic.
It was so great watching it the first time, and it's a great moment just to watch ever since, just because it's all right there on the screen, and
Yeah.
you're like, that's why you go back to a show like that. It's like that's why you go watch these movies, because you want to see something great put together well. And
But you are
that's
right. The that idea of there is this sort of faux great man narrative to this movie that if you watch it the first time, you're like, oh, look at these guys sacrificing themselves in the name of something amazing. And
Mhm.
then when you really look back on what happened in the movie, it was these tricksters trying to convince people that they were doing a magic trick at the expense of the women and children that they loved. Like those are the people that sacrifice in the name of these guys trying to convince people that they can transport from one door or another in a
Yeah,
completely phony way.
yeah,
That's potent, very, very potent. And I think that justifies the dead wife thing that Nolan has been so obsessed with in a better way than he's able to do in basically every other attempt that he
No, it
makes
it
in
it,
that
it makes
regard.
sense because of what those brothers are doing to her, and the great
It's nasty. This is
the
a
great
nasty
it's a
movie in
nasty
ways that
film.
Nolan movies are not nasty.
the whole setup where he leaves her apartment, and when she enters and he's still somehow there, that's very gross and manipulative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just to come off as like, oh, look, I'm the charming magician. Look what I've done. But he
Oh,
broke.
but it is like when they say, well, we each lived half a life and that was enough for us. It is sort of presented as
Mhm.
it was in the name of something just, but when you actually reflect on it, it's gnarly and gross and
yeah,
Yeah.
manipulative.
and
Oh,
that the fact that like she knows, she knows somewhat by the end. I mean, the whole plot, the whole little device of like, I love you, and she not today. Some days you mean it, other days you don't.
I do love. It is very obvious in that Nolan-y way.
It's obvious, but like when you're
There's
watching
something
it the
charming
first
about it.
time, when you're watching it, you can be like, okay, well, I can
Yes.
understand that this is
That is
about
something
the
in
art.
hindsight where I'm
You know what I
like,
mean?
this is a little hacky,
Yeah,
but it's good.
but like
I do like it.
it's really good, and the what kills her is when his brother says, "Not today." You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to
Mhm.
love you, and it's played off as like I'm not going to love you if you're going to be like this.
It
And
is
then
something presented in such a kind of straightforward way that it doesn't immediately strike you as disturbing as it really is.
yeah,
And there aren't many Christopher Nolan movies presented as straightforward that are disturbing. Like obviously the Joker is disturbing, and that's very straightforward and easy
I think
to
Memento,
contemplate.
by the end of that.
Memento is that way. I would say this is,
Yeah.
if there is a movie similar to The Prestige, it's probably Memento.
It really
in
is.
that way.
Like rewatching Memento and really finding a real love to that film now.
We want to think he is the hero, and then he turns out to be literally the villain of
and
the
he's
movie.
hiding all that underneath. And there are no heroes in this film. Like they're all culpable in this tragedy. Like this is his tragedy, if there ever was one. And I mean, like he gets to walk, like Bale gets to walk off with the daughter in the end, but the cost again, like the what did he have to do in order to get back there? He had to murder somebody, essentially. He had to kill, his rival.
Shot a man, lost his wife, lost his brother, might not even be the biological father of the girl. But it's
that's not even brought up either. It's like how much. I mean, I think it kind of is implied that he does care for his daughter. Like when
obviously, he's I mean, he's raised her enough where he had half the time given to her would
I'm sure
would be scared. He's not the
certainly there was a time where it was like, oh, I'm ready, I'm turned
when they're
on,
fighting,
let's do it, and it's like, all right, I guess I got to do it. I gotta maintain.
Well, that goes into another. That goes into another, like, if you really want to get into the insidious aspect of twins sharing a life, is like consent. She doesn't know who she's with half the time, and that there's even creepier implications with that as in regards to
but I don't think
she's sleeping with. Yes,
I don't think that the film would go that far.
It's but it's something to think. It's something to think about. If they,
it's inherent to the story. Like it's not like they were gonna go there as far as this person, the wife being like, "Oh, you're not the same person," but it is baked into the story. Like it's there.
Yeah,
sure. I don't think that Borden
it's a Disney movie,
brother
by the way.
and his brother. I think that when they mean that I love Sarah and he loved Olivia, I think that then I don't think that he had the extramarital affair that that Robert thinks that he has. Because
you're saying when it was the non-loving brother's turn, they kept it a chaste relationship.
If she was turned on at night and got on top of him, he was like, "Oh, I'm sleepy."
Yeah, I think that for sure. I don't think that night
throws a rubber ball at the closet.
But if she can tell if she can tell when he loves her and not, she's gonna know right before they do it a little bit, right? Like that's a little, and it's the silliness of the mechanics.
I imagine there were definitely times where the streams crossed.
It doesn't
I have to think.
I don't know. Yeah. I think that you can clearly see in every scene where that brother is playing Alfred that he just has nothing but he just fucking hates her. Like there's a little bit of like, if in a lot of ways his brother was the one that killed.
He hates her so
wife.
much she knew not to try. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think he would want to try with her.
Tonight.
That's why he gets Olivia. Because when you see the real Alfred walk up to her and she's just like Freddie, and he's like, no, don't call me that. Like he doesn't like her either. Like they are clearly, those two women are for that respected person. And maybe
Rebecca Hall is great in this movie, by the way.
Way the film plays off those mechanics.
She's great in general.
Figured it out. But yeah,
agreed.
In normal, probably like outside of this world's, like if you're just presenting the situation, Jake, you're probably absolutely right. They probably, they probably tag team.
I think it was just, it wasn't malicious in any way. It was just like part of their performance. It's all about manipulation and perception and trying to, maintain errors.
It was just they didn't realize what the cost would be getting into it, and that's that's the whole thing, is that
driving a woman straight into madness and killing herself. You know what I mean? Which is insane.
What's your favorite Rebecca Hall?
You
know what she was really good in a few years ago?
What's the one where she was like the TV reporter?
TV reporter.
Is it Christine
Chadwick? Is that her name?
I think so. Yeah. She's fantastic.
I liked The Night House.
I liked her in I was gonna say The Night House is probably my favorite.
She's great.
She's
in The Night
really
House.
good in that.
I didn't see Resurrection. I know that the Tim Roth one. I know some people like
Oh, that one
I
was good.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen that one. Night House is probably my pick for her. It's nice just looking now.
I do think she's quite good in The Town. I think
Town
she's
is
really
great.
doing what she's
Really good
asked.
in I like them. Did you like that movie Resurrection with her and Tim Roth?
I haven't. I just said I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that was the one we were just talking about. Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I wasn't.
I
wasn't listening.
I think it's very good. Yeah.
I think she's good in that. It's like kind of like a solid three out of 5-star movie. The Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman women.
I hear that's actually really good.
It's a
Oh, I
good
haven't
one.
seen that. I never saw that.
She's really good in it. I mean, like
Yeah.
water is wet. Like Rebecca Hall's a really good actress. She's in
You want a deep cut? Check out Red Riding, 1974. It's this British trilogy that's based on these murder novels from the UK. That's actually where I learned about Andrew Garfield, because he's like this young reporter investigating like this string of murders, and Rebecca Hall is the mother of one of the slain children. They hook up at one point, but it's like that was like a film where I had known both of them from before they got big, before he was Spider-Man. And I'm like, oh hey, it's the guy from 1974.
I'm gonna check that one out. She was good in Peter Hujar's Day last year, the Ira Sachs film. And I was at Cannes and I missed her in The Man I Love, but I've heard nothing but good things once again. She's just an actress that continues to make good choices.
Yeah.
She did a lot of or several Woody Allen movies.
I think every actor in this era did
There you go.
several.
Well, so did ScarJo. The
well,
Prestige.
ScarJo-
The Prestige crew. They
Freaking
really got in.
Scoop with Hugh Jackman is a magician movie.
Yeah. Well, and then Hall and
Sorry to get excited.
and Scarlett Johansson both did Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of magician movies, I did another bit of homework this week. Don't know if you guys did.
Did
but
you
I
watch
don't know
The
if you recall.
Illusionist?
I sure did.
you?
2006 was the Battle of the Magicians.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
I only saw The Prestige at the time.
Okay.
Saw The Illusionist just last week. And it's funny watching that film and thinking that there was ever a competition in the first
I
place.
haven't. I've never seen it. I've
It's-
seen it. I must
it's-
confess.
It is.
so it's just incredibly is really no other way to describe it.
It's very predictable. Yeah.
Very predictable. Like the only person who's good in it is Paul Giamatti. And
I
he's
think
the-
Edward Norton's pretty good in it.
Okay, he's good. He looks great as the main illusionist.
Rafe
guy.
Spall and Jessica Biel.
That's a Neil Burke, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're both
I
not
think
very
I
good.
think I've kind of got what that is then.
yeah.
Giamatti's actually really good in that movie.
He's good. He's good. He's
Giamatti
very
always good.
He's very restrained though. He's not
Yeah.
like he never gets shouty in it once.
No,
which
Rafe
probably
Spall's
helps.
more the shouty one as the crown prince in that film. Yeah.
No, that's Rufus Sewell.
Or Rufus. Oh, they all just, you know.
Hey,
City.
come on now. Don't be rude.
But yeah, it's and also like a lot of the illusions in that are very clearly like CGI creations on Norton's stage. Like there's no real attempt at any genuine craft or magic in it. It's all just done impractically. And Nolan at least understands, you got to give them a good show. And so that's why a lot of the
Even this early, even
Yeah.
when he didn't have the ability to just flex and be like, I'm going to build a city, he still committed to practical as much as he could.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I saw The Illusionist. I don't recommend it. It's probably a reason why that film was largely forgotten to time, I would say.
But honestly, it didn't make that much less money than this did.
Probably Star
I think
Power,
this made like
guess.
105 and The Illusionist made like 90. It wasn't that different. Yeah.
Both-
This movie was not a huge hit. The
Right.
Prestige.
Yeah. So when we talk about, because I guess Nolan was not. I guess could we say that like The Dark Knight is where Nolan became the name? We're like, oh, there's a new Nolan out that's supposed to be nuts. And then we did
Batman
Inception.
Begins was, I would say, sort
higher?
of underwhelming gross.
Yeah.
I mean, it did well.
This movie and Batman Begins played so well on fucking home video.
They did.
And
Oh yeah.
and,
Oh yeah.
And then the
And then the Dark
marketing
Knight was just like,
campaign
okay, you get to do whatever you want for the rest of your
for the
career.
Dark
Dark
Knight
Knight.
was one of the greatest marketing campaigns ever leading up to it. Then, of course, obviously the tragedy of
The Ledger,
Ledger
thing, the Ledger thing
adds
added
another
$300
level of
million to the gross.
curiosity to it. And then from that point on, the man has made bank on every film, and then some. Even I would even say a movie like Tenet, even in the pandemic,
Yeah, you got to grade on a curve.
you got to grade that on a
Tenet,
curve. But but clearly, I think that one would have done okay. In
I
a
think
regular,
Tenet got some love back when Oppenheimer came out because they re-release Tenet, and then a lot of people saw the truth. Tenet is crazy.
I mean, Tenet rules. It made
we're going to talk about it.
$366 million. That movie cost $205 million.
I know, but that movie, if you had a regular release and every other seat in the theater wasn't
$205 million budget is huge. That's I can't wait to talk about the movie. That movie rules.
How much is the Odyssey? Like the Odyssey's got to be like what?
The Odyssey is probably like that much.
Yeah, and we're not worried about the Odyssey.
They're saying 250.
Okay, so if it's 250 and that movie's going to make how much?
800 to 900 is my guess.
8 to 900, maybe a bill.
The thing about the Odyssey is that I have not watched the latest trailer, and with Nolan not necessarily being one of my guys, I can kind of just walk into that movie with like the most open of minds, and we'll see what time I have.
See, I've seen
Don't watch the new trailer.
The teaser. I've seen only the teaser in a movie theater just because I was there.
I've seen the teaser. Yeah,
that's all I've seen,
and it looks great.
That's all I've seen,
and it looks great.
Brian, you were espousing some skepticism recently.
Listen, I said the teaser looked great. I didn't say the new trailer looked great.
Okay, all right.
There's a guy
clear
on
with
Twitter.
what I said.
There's a guy on Twitter. I'm not going to say his name, but he is like pretty much convinced that Nolan is like the last filmmaker, and all his posts are. You can probably discern who this is. I'll tell you off mic.
Thank you.
He's the one guy who's like, oh, no, Nolan is like saving cinema by shooting the Odyssey on film or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, he has a blank check to do so. It's like he is whatever he wants.
The thing about Nolan to me,
and everyone has these means to do it.
It's not about what he makes, because right now whatever he makes is like carte blanche, could do whatever he wants pretty much the rest of his life. He's going to be in like Ridley Scott territory where he's like 80 and making $200 million movies and they make no money and people will still go see it, whatever. It's that like, it's hearing from like when Ryan Coogler said like he was giving him advice on the IMAX cameras and that they're creating this new camera that'll hopefully help like, you know, further directors, him and Hoyte, with what they're doing on the Odyssey for later stuff. It's that stuff is what makes him kind of better than your average
in my
blockbuster
opinion,
director.
A great steward of cinema, and he is using his
what Spielberg used to do,
blank check well.
Yeah.
And if he is he's
getting a lot of goodwill,
the permission to do whatever he wants, then I think he's using. With great power comes great responsibility, and I think he's using that responsibility well.
And he's going toe to toe with Spider-Man this year.
Yeah.
You said Hoyt. You invoked his name. Where the Prestige is in the era of Wally Pfister.
Wally, this movie looks so good.
Yeah. It does look good.
This is a ridiculously good-looking movie.
Did Transcendence really just like blackball him from making movies ever again?
That movie
seems to have been the case. Yeah,
it really is like he's not even doing he's not even doing DP work anymore because Nolan just moved on.
No,
you know, it's like that's the thing.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll get.
He literally has not shot a movie since Dark Knight Rises,
and he hasn't even done like TV.
Yeah.
You know, he's done like one or two things maybe, but it's like he's essentially retired.
He did 2 episodes of The Tick.
Oh, I'm sure Griffin Newman had a.
This is an Oscar-winning cinematographer, and this man is
crazy.
Just
there's got to be some story there.
Like, okay, people have bombs all the time.
Yeah, he's done a lot of commercials, and honestly, that's where you make your money, man.
That's where I guess so. But like the fact that you don't like. I mean, you don't have like an indie film in you. You don't have like.
But also, Nolan was like, "Oh wait, I found Hoyt van Hoytma. I'm good."
In a way, I'm like, I can upgrade for free. Like, get me on that family plan. You know, it's, and now like everybody wants to work with Hoyte van Hoytma, and they're like,
it is crazy that
nobody else. Guy now.
Nobody else wanted to. It's crazy. That is wild.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like you would think that like some director would be like, oh, like some young director that loves Nolan's early films would be like, I'm gonna work with Wally Pfister on my film. Like that would be pretty good. Unless that like that movie was
Actually,
so bad that it just killed his career. Somebody will write that book one day, I guess. Um, but yeah,
also out of the Nolan scene, which we should really discuss how great in this film is the editing, because there's a lot. It's
It's
not doesn't
tricky,
it's
tricky.
very tricky, but I think this is like Nolan's best use of cross-cutting because you get into something like The Dark Knight where it kind of just becomes overwhelming, where you like there's three different things happening at once. But here,
Hmm.
I think this is like this is his most elegant example of
yeah.
like going to see like Borden's transported man on the first night, cutting back to him saying this is the greatest trick I've ever seen, cutting to Cutter watching it, and then their conversation. I feel like it flows the best here. I think Lee Smith, who was who he do not edited the last two films that he's done.
No, he's done everything
Uh,
up to Dunkirk. Yeah,
okay, yeah. So
Did he do? He did Dunkirk.
he
he
did
did
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
Yeah, which
Okay,
makes
because I think
total
that movie
sense.
is like masterfully edited.
Yeah.
And
So he did.
I think Christopher Nolan's films like require great editing, and I think he's gotten it out of pretty much every movie that he's made,
Yeah.
more or less.
Uh,
'Cause- oh.
Dark Knight Rises is clunky, but
Well, okay.
I mean,
Dark
a
Dark
lot
Knight
of these.
I
Rises
got, I got.
accepted.
I
I
mean,
agree.
like we haven't done this
And
show
honestly,
yet.
I would say as of this moment, Interstellar is an
Just shut
issue as well.
just shut
But
your mouth.
I need to rewatch it.
Stop
I
it.
honestly, I feel bad saying that because people just love that freaking
You
movie.
need to. I mean, I've been on that movie since it came
But
out.
Jennifer Lame like rocks. I
She did
think
a great job. Yeah, I
she's
think she did a
awesome.
great job with. I mean, her work on Tenet is like insane. Like to
I
make
think
that
Oppenheimer's
movie,
editing is out of this world.
that's like the propeller to.
complicated
Yeah.
for that type of movie. The way that they edit it, and we'll talk about it.
I
But
think
we're
we've had
talking
like
about we're talking about the Prestige,
we've
which is
had
a
two
fabulously edited film.
we've had two
Yeah.
great editing winners the last couple of years with Oppenheimer and
Jennifer Lame.
One
She
Battle
edited
After
before.
Another.
Oh no. She was an apprentice. Okay,
Yeah.
she was an apprentice on before the Devil Knows You're Dead, and she was like 25.
Wow. Okay.
That's
Wait,
awesome.
so wait,
Man.
Oppenheimer was her first feature editing? Is that
No,
right?
I thought that.
Let me see.
No, I thought she did.
Manchester by the Sea was her first.
I
Okay.
thought she did. Didn't she do Tenet?
No, no, yeah, but I'm saying her first
Oh.
like exclusive
Oh, her, like,
editor
feet-
was
oh,
Manchester by the Sea, a phenomenally edited
She did
movie.
do
I think.
Tenet. Well, just to spout out for other credits, I mean, Marriage Story, Hereditary,
Oh, Hereditary.
She did
Black
some good
Panther,
stuff.
Wakanda Forever, Francis Ha. All
She's
right.
got good taste.
Yeah,
And Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
looks like.
Mm.
Hey, you gotta get the money somewhere, right? It's
That's just a hate.
Look.
That movie sucks. I'm
Barry
sorry.
Jenkins.
I
Barry
never
Jenkins
saw it.
directed Lion King, whatever.
Yeah,
that thing
I
was
know.
called.
Yeah.
Get that money. She probably made more
Cooler's
money
gonna go
for
from
Black
Cooler's
Panther
gonna
than
go
anything
from like
I-
else.
Sinners to making Black Panther 3. You know what I mean?
Could he? I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
he
he's
really,
totally gonna do it. He's totally gonna
Sinners-
do it.
I don't know. Sinners felt like a real proving himself moment where he doesn't have to tie himself down
He's
to a
been
franchise.
talking about closing off that trilogy for a hot
He has
second,
been
so,
talking about that.
He wants to bring on like
Jake, where you at on Barry Jenkins directing Lion or Mufasa?
Well, like it doesn't. It happened. We can
I
move
should
on.
probably say no comment because I got a lot of hate on Twitter for making fun of that fact. I'll say what I said. I said that because it was not doing well at the box office,
And then
and
it
I
did.
It ended up doing pretty well.
and well at the first weekend it wasn't. I said,
Yeah.
oh hey, it looks like this new Lion King's doing as well at the box offices as Barry Jenkins' other movies because those are not box office barnstormers.
And then
everyone came
and then
after
it made like what, like 600, $700 million.
I mean, it's like
It made a
it's
lot
like
of money.
making a Jurassic World movie at this point. It's not going to be good, but it's going to get a lot of
It's
people
free
to go
money.
see
Like-
it.
like,
People
you
are
know
gonna go
that-
see dinosaurs and talking animals.
They're gonna go see that Moana film, the remake,
That Moana's
yeah.
movie's gonna
and
be
it's gonna
so
make a
funny.
crap ton of money because people
That's
are
gonna
like
the live
Moana.
action Lilo and Stitch made over $1 billion. So Moana may hit that, especially
think-
with you got The Rock and I made fun of that movie. Did not get any hate because people agree with me. Just the screenshot of The Rock wearing that Maui wig. I
Yeah, that
said
was tough.
I love
That was tough.
I love Super Bowl commercials is my quote under that screen cap.
They
'Cause
look
that's what
like
it
to the
looks
same
like.
quality of like that Seal commercial, you know what I mean, from a couple years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Any
does suck.
celebrity
I mean,
doing an ad.
we got.
Jay, how much did the Mufasa film make?
I just looked it up. 700 and change. 723.
Wow. No,
All
he's
right,
making
well,
that. He's making that. He's making that biopic with
He's got a couple
Zendaya.
things coming, right?
He's got the Zendaya
The,
film that he's making. He's got the sci-fi
God,
film with
if
Glenn
Beale Street Could
Powell.
Talk was 2018, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think though, like that film with Zendaya is going to be more like back to basics, not like it's going to be like
I hope so.
hopefully.
Moonlight, Zendaya, and I still gotta watch Underground
you
Railroad.
still, but you bought it on Criterion, right?
I own it,
Yeah,
but I haven't watched it.
you really should watch it. It's
And all I've heard is that it's phenomenal.
it's,
Yeah,
it's incredible stuff.
I bought Out One on Blu-ray 10 years ago, and I finally watched it a couple weeks ago.
Look
So
at that.
there's still time.
Did you want a
There's
pat
still
on the
time.
back for that?
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
that's a
next time I
13-hour
see you, I'll,
film.
I'll pat you
Yeah,
on the back.
when we'll meet, we'll shake hands, pat me on the back. I'll
You know,
appreciate
say
it.
like, this is
I
for-
gotta watch
for
Underground
watching your film.
Railroad though. I do think Barry Jenkins is a talent.
He's still
No,
pretty.
absolutely.
He's still pretty good at his job.
I just, honestly, there should you gotta get sometimes you gotta just take the work wherever it presents itself, and I do feel like I feel like there should be more transparency in the film world where you can admit, yeah, this is a for hire job. It was a nice check. It's end of day. That's
He has without a doubt made more money off of Mufasa than every other thing combined that he's
No,
done
yeah,
in his career.
absolutely. Get that bag, man. It's
Yeah.
I love it when a great filmmaker does that, and then they go back and do the one for them
Right, exactly.
of their
exactly.
career, and then
You
we
gotta-
get to see. Okay, yeah, he's still
Soderbergh was the master.
yeah.
One for them,
Now-
one for me. And then his one for them was Ocean's 11, and it was like, keep it coming, brother.
And that was I mean, a box office smash, that whole trilogy.
And it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, and then and now he's doing like, I'm gonna retire every 4 years, and then I'm gonna make 6 for me.
And then I'm gonna make
Don't say it.
AI John Lennon documentary.
God damn it! You said it.
Mm.
I did not watch that.
So that'll be
I was
interesting.
no way in hell was.
Did you not watch that one? At
Nope.
Cannes?
You were not going to get me to watch it.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
You're going to watch it, really?
So here's my take on Soderbergh doing AI.
Oh, thank God! I thought you were going to do a whole AI take, like on your philosophy of it.
No,
and
no,
I
no,
swear
no.
to God,
I think AI
Jake and I
in
don't want to hear
general
that shit
is
either.
absolutely deplorable.
Thank
but
you.
I think Soderbergh has such like it's like when a toddler throws a rock at a kid for the first time, and they're like, "Well, this is just like, what else are you supposed to do with this rock? Like this is something that I'm doing without even thinking." And it's like, this is a technology that I can implement in some way. And so I'm going to do it because he is not online, right? Like he's just a person being presented with a tool. It is like 2001: A Space Odyssey. They find a bone on the ground and they use it to bat another monkey on top of the head, not understanding the implications of it. That is sort of what I think about when I think about Steven Soderbergh dealing with AI. And apparently it's bad. I've heard nothing but negative feedback on his use of AI.
I will
am
say
giving
this.
him the biggest benefit of the doubt in the world. With
I didn't-
his use
I
of
didn't
AI,
watch-
which
listen.
maybe I shouldn't be doing, but
You probably shouldn't. So, maybe
I love him. I love the guy.
I would say this. I would have
No?
probably just stayed silent until you saw it and then judged it from there. All I know is that
it's about in a lot of ways intentionality at this point because it is in its infancy.
Yeah,
but
but
he certainly has heard a lot of bad things.
I think this is that, like, I wasn't going to go to a film festival and watch him make like a fucking John Lennon AI film. Like, thank you. But I do think that's like, if I watch it down the road on like a screener, and if if I had the capacity to want to see any more things about the Beatles, because we have 4 films coming about the Beatles that I'm much more interested in, and we all are.
I want the music biopic genre dead. That's all I'll have to say about that.
I think that they
Gotta Joe check out Michael, man. It's
yeah,
masterpiece.
yeah, you gotta, moonwalk into the theaters there, Jake. But
My
believe it.
my quote on Michael is wannabe nepo baby cashes in on creepy uncle's fame. That's
man,
I haven't seen it.
that,
I've seen it. I believe I gave it. What did I give it, Ryan? A D?
I think you did, and I think that was being too kind
Yeah.
to it. It's
I kind of want them to make
I
a
don't know.
sequel and not have any of the bad stuff discussed, but I want to see Jafar Jackson commit to doing whiteface for a feature film. I feel like that would be fun.
Do you remember
Um,
when they were talking about Joseph Fiennes doing the
You never seen the
playing
video?
Michael Jackson?
No, he did it, and they just did,
It
and
just never got released.
they have the photos out there still. You can go and watch it. Like
That sounds
it's
pretty
out there.
good. That sounds
But
pretty good.
anyway, yeah.
we didn't mention Root, played by Hugh Jackman.
Root, yes. That was a nit as well, where it's just like they found this guy on the street who is the same guy,
Well,
but
there's like
Well,
the
I
cheekbones are
mean,
the thing that really take it away. You know what I
he's got
mean?
the teeth. It's the teeth.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's also in the novel. He's doesn't look much like him, but they stage makeup doesn't matter. I do like that when Olivia goes and meets Borden, he says like, "Oh yeah, I've seen his trick where he comes out of the other side mute, overweight, and if I'm not mistaken, a
I do
little
like
bit
that.
drunk."
Yeah, that's really good.
I love yeah, and then I love when finally for the last time when Borden ruins the trick and he removes the padding for
Oh,
Tangier to
it's
fall down
good.
and then Root's tied up in the like in the rafters and he's lowered. There's a shot in the audience of the other Borden dressed as Fallon and he's just laughing and shaking his head like, "Oh, my brother's so funny." And I just
That's
that,
good.
that's
I do love how the clones aren't just like regenerative versions of Angier, but they all have the limp too. I think that's a nice little detail. They're
that's
just
and
like
that's a
exact copies.
That's a thing too in the book is that he invites an audience member onto the stage to like make a little like mark on his clothing with chalk so that when he reappears they can say, "Oh, it's the same guy," and not
Oh,
not just
nice.
be not just be like a look-alike.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah.
Jay,
Yes.
before we get out of here,
Yeah. It's a
we're gonna
good film.
just we're gonna test your award season knowledge based on the film we just reviewed, The Prestige, in a segment we like to call "It's an Honor to Get Nominated." Now, Jay, knowing a bit up and down with the Academy,
Yeah.
was The Prestige nominated for any Academy Awards, and if so, what was it nominated for?
See, I'm thinking this didn't get a ton of play because it wasn't a huge hit. It didn't really strike the public consciousness at the time of its release, although I think it has since then become a really big deal. I'm going to say it got one nom, and I'm going to say it got editing.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
You'd be incorrect.
Didn't get editing. Did it get anything?
You got-
I have an answer thanks to the book.
God damn it, Jake.
If you go because I didn't look this up, but if you read the about the author section,
Yeah, Jake can
Christopher
reveal it.
Priest was the critically acclaimed author of the 1995 World Fantasy Award-winning novel The Prestige, whose 2006 film adaptation of the same name went on to be a two-time Academy Award nominated
Okay.
box office hit. It does not say what it was nominated for. I'm gonna presume cinematography, maybe
is-
though that Field of Light Bulbs,
That is correct.
It's a
I'm-
good looking movie.
I would say costume, just because people love when there's a lot
production
of
design?
or that.
Jay's correct on production design. Jake is correct on cinematography.
Well,
Not
Jay and-
costumes, huh?
No
Jay and-
stooms.
Wow.
Jay and Jake, we're two men sharing one life, so I count that as a
We've
win.
each lived half a life.
There,
Yes.
there you go. Yes, it was nominated for cinematography. It lost to Pan's Labyrinth.
I mean, a good looking movie.
The other nominees, Jake, you'll like this. The other nominees were The Black Dahlia, Children of Men, and The Illusionist.
The
Interesting.
illusion.
The other
I'm
magician film.
surprised of that bunch. Children of Men lost.
Agreed. It's got
Because
that famous tracking shot.
Well, it's several. Pan's
Yeah.
Labyrinth has a lot of great looking monsters.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But like I don't know, for camera technique, I feel like Children of Men. That like if you just showed me that list, I would have checked that one because
very-
that's Emmanuel Luzbecki. I'm
Yeah.
guessing, right? So you got Chivo there.
Yeah.
But well, that's interesting.
Pan Slapper did with makeup to go with the monsters
I
effects.
mean,
You're
Oh
absolutely
call.
yeah,
right there, Jake.
that's right.
Art direction, The Prestige lost to Pan's Labyrinth, which won that. Dreamgirls, which was nominated. The Good Shepherd and Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest.
Mm. I'd probably give that to Pirates, man.
Pirates won visual effects, and obviously it had to
That
because
was
of the Davy
the
Jones.
yeah, that was the
Yeah,
first Davy Jones. I mean,
yeah,
that still
Yeah,
looks so
it
good.
still looks
Oh my
so
God.
goddamn good.
it does. Yeah.
It's crazy when you see some films nowadays, and you're like, okay, why do you look bad? But a movie that's like 20
Oh,
years old
interesting. That
still
looks
looks good.
better than every Marvel movie, and it came out
Ever
20 years
created,
ago. Yeah.
and they're owned
When
by the same fucking company.
Yeah.
You know,
when people post like a screen cap of like the of Mark Ruffalo's face pasted into like the Hulkbuster armor, and they say this is a screenshot from a $2 billion film, and then you look at Davy Jones and you're like, where did you find this real Squid Man? It's
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
yeah.
crazy.
um,
What were the best picks this year?
Best Picture winner was The Departed.
You gotta have. I'm gonna guess some.
Okay.
You gotta have Babel in there. I feel like that was a Babel year.
Yes, that was when it won the Golden Globe, and Arnold Schwarzenegger called it Babel. At the Golden Globes.
Was the Good Shepherd
What is the correct way to pronounce that film?
Bab,
Babel?
Babil.
Oh, I don't know.
I assumed it was like the Tower of Babel.
Oh
I've
my
never
god,
seen it.
no,
I've never seen it.
Babil.
Babe,
Babil? What is
Babe,
Babil?
Babe L.
Is it not based on the Tower of Babel?
No, it's not.
Hmm.
I've only heard it.
Have you ever seen it, Jay?
No, I've never seen it.
Don't.
Yeah, I
All
don't
right?
think I ever will.
Well, you got to do that in your YouTube retrospective with Digger coming out.
Yeah, we're gonna do that for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Jake, The Good Shepherd was not nominated.
Hmm. Oh no, would they have nominated Pan's Labyrinth, or was that still were they keeping
Ooh,
it to
as
foreign
you
film?
would think, because it dominated Below the Line, but no, it didn't get nominated.
It
What
had
else
to
was
have
this
won.
year?
It had to have won and foreign feature, right?
It was not nominated for
Was
foreign
that
feature.
really?
This was that year where it got nominated for a crap ton. Oh no, it was nominated. It didn't win.
Okay.
The Lives of Others beat it.
Oh,
Was
that
this
makes sense. Oh,
did
that makes
Pursuit of
sense.
Happiness get a Best Picture nomination?
It did not, but Will Smith was nominated for
What
best.
about did Blood Diamond get a Best Picture
Blood
nomination?
Diamond was not nominated, but Leonardo DiCaprio was nominated, along with
Hmm.
Jaimin Hansu for
What the heck else
Ringer.
was nominated? Miami Vice didn't get one, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that did not happen either. You are correct.
I can't recall. What else would there be?
Well,
Wow.
Jay, you do a Clint Eastwood podcast, so Letters from Iwo Jima was nominated.
Mm.
I've known that. A little film called Little Miss Sunshine was nominated this year,
Oh,
folks.
of
Right.
course. That was the
Yep.
darling.
Yes,
Yep.
was the Sundance Darling. And then, of
Yeah.
course, because it's that era, so we have to have something buttoned up, The Queen.
The Queen.
Yes. And, of course,
We love
the
it.
best director was Scorsese for The Departed, Iñárritu for Babel,
Mhm.
Eastwood for Letters from Iwo Jima, Stephen Frears for The Queen, and Paul Greengrass for United 93.
Let me ask you, what do you like more, The Departed or The Prestige?
The Prestige by
I prefer The Prestige. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I don't
come
know.
on.
Departed is
Like listen, I like The Departed a lot. I think it's a fun, entertaining film. I'm glad that Marty has his Oscar,
I think The Departed is just kind of whatever.
but it's just what it is. What
yeah,
it is.
I agree.
You know
Even
what I
the Hong Kong film, Infernal Affairs, is really whatever to
mean? Yeah,
me.
yeah. Like of these films that are nominated here, like I think The Departed's the best. But I mean, like I would nominate The Prestige or Children of Men or a bunch of films over it.
I do like Children. I haven't watched that movie in so long.
It's not one you want to put on with the family. You know what I mean?
No,
it's a hard
it's
film.
a lark.
Jake,
Yes.
thank you for coming back on and doing the show with us.
My pleasure.
We mostly
Anytime.
stayed on track. We didn't do a lot of tangents today.
This
which
was
is-
actually pretty
You
solid.
know what? I want to pat our. You know what? As much as I was going to pat Jake on the.
What was the
back
last
to watch-
movie that Jake was on for?
Jake, what was the
Can't
last
Billy
time?
May, Heartbreak Kid.
Heartbreak
Heartbreak
Kid.
Kid. Oh, one of my faves.
What a
Good
masterpiece! I think about that movie all the time. Jake, can you tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet, as well as give them a recommendation of the week, something that you're vibing with that you'd like everybody to check out?
Oh God. All right. Last minute curveball there. I'm saying this to stall my answer, but I'm at Jake Tropila on all things. You can find me, yeah, Twitter, Letterboxd. Those are probably just the main two, JakeTropila. Speaking of great filmmakers, I'm gonna put over. I haven't talked about this movie much that I saw recently. I'm gonna put over Hatari by Howard Hawks, which is just John Wayne and a cast of actors out in the African Safari capturing live animals on camera. It is one of the coziest hangout movies you could ask for with genuine danger in every frame. Check that out. That is a great piece of craftsmanship. Hatari, which is
Atari.
Swahili
I think I
for
haven't seen
danger.
like 3 Howard Hawks movies, and I think that's one of the movies I haven't seen.
Oh,
I think it's long, right?
it's about 2.5 hours
Yeah.
long, but it's just a great time. I loved it, start to finish. It looks
Yeah.
incredible.
I gotta check it out.
The Duke wrangling giraffes, it's amazing.
Got to put it
That's the
on the
push I
list.
need.
Jay?
Yeah.
Same deal?
Yeah, find me Letterbox J Ledbetter, Twitter at Mr. J Ledbetter. I will give I hate giving obvious recommendations. Like I recently rewatched, Spielberg's West Side Story. It's like that's boring to recommend. I recently rewatched Tree of Life because I'm in a bad place right now, and that's always what I go to when I'm in a bad place. And it's like that's a boring thing to recommend. I'll recommend a movie. It's like a soft recommend, but
Oh
a
boy.
recent Netflix release, which those are always dangerous, but Remarkably Bright Creatures,
Is this the Sally Field movie?
the Sally Field, Lewis
Octopus.
Pullman movie about people that work in an aquarium. Very sweet. Like if you're hanging out with your mom, check out Remarkably Bright Creatures. It's a very tender film about these people. An older woman played by Sally Field and a younger man played by Lewis Pullman, who are in very sort of emotionally precarious positions for very different reasons, who find a common bond. There's this weird, omniscient octopus at the center of the story who operates like Babe as much as any other character in any movie. But I found it to be very tender and understanding and empathetic. So check out that film. It's not going to be your favorite movie of the year, but you're going to have a good time, especially if you're looking for like an agreeable movie to watch with a group of people whose taste you're not entirely sure of. Check out Remarkably Bright Creatures. It was a very sweet film.
I got a call the other day from my
Very
mom
good.
who said that she was watching it and then kind of sounded like she was a little weepy on the end of that line. And
It
so,
it wa- it it'll get you at the end for sure.
yeah,
For
that's
sure.
that's
And
what I've
you
heard.
you feel that the entire movie.
Mm.
It's like building and building. You're like, this is probably gonna make me cry at the end of it. And I'm not gonna be like proud of the fact that I cried because of it.
And then you
But
do.
it's good at it. Yeah, it is effective. It is an incredibly effective movie.
Okay. All right. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterbox, Blue Sky at Ryan McQuade 77. You can find it on my work here at awardswatch.com. If you like podcasts, we have the main show that's released on Monday, iTunes, Spotify, 5-star reviews. Greatly appreciated. While you're on the website, please sign up for the newsletters. The best place to get all of our news, reviews, interviews sent to you all in one place. Recommendation of the week. I mean, like, I haven't seen a lot of new stuff because I mean, I've been
I've seen a lot of new stuff, but stuff that you can't even really recommend yet.
I can't really recommend them because like it's going to be a while before many people see them. I will recommend something because guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but I love my wife. And she
Very Borat-esque.
and she is reading a book series right now that I said that I would start reading alongside with her because you got to in relationships you got to do things for both sides to be happy. And I'm through only a couple pages of this book, but it's like the biggest book series on the planet right now.
It's a high recommend. See a few
And
pages, folks.
I've liked it so far, and then I'm really curious how this thing's going to go on. It's called I think you guys might know it, the Dungeon Crawler Carl book series. You guys know this?
No idea what you're talking about.
It's
Not
a big
familiar.
it's a big deal. There's
Okay.
like 8 of these books out right now. It's the big deal because like
Is
Seth
it like recent?
yeah, it's like recent like Seth MacFarlane and his team have bought the rights for like a television series based off of this.
Dungeon Crawler Carl. Okay.
Yeah, and it is like
It's
a
about a man and his cat.
popular light RPG kind of book series. Anyway, wife loves it. I'm gonna start reading it more. I've read a little bit of it, and it's quite funny.
Read along pods coming soon.
And so, you know what? Shout out to that book series. Shout out to my wife, and do more things with your partners, folks. It's is the name of the game.
Should start an author watch podcast.
Author watch. You want to do that?
Yeah, you can do it with your wife.
With you don't want to participate in the book series? Whatever we pick. All right. Well, could have done like an Odyssey pod where we're just reading the audiobook.
Podyssey?
Right.
Podyssey? Oh my God. How's nobody come up with that yet? The Podyssey.
I bet you somebody has. I bet you if I search that, I guarantee you that exists.
Like Universal's already started that, the Podyssey. So, well, that's Dungeon Crawler Carl. There's like 8 books. You can start picking them up at a nearest bookstore near you. That's going to do it for this week's show on The Prestige. We will be back next week to talk about The Dark Knight. Big episode.
Big one. Big one.
Big film. Jake, Dark Knight fan?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, cool. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all next time.